In this tutorial video, I'm going to teach you how to build a stunning portfolio website that stands out. This portfolio website is suitable for graphics designer, website developers, software engineers, photographers, artists, and anyone in the creative industry. Before we go ahead to start building the website, first, let me show you some of the beautiful features that are present on the website. So if I should reload the website, the row section is going to come in like a fade transition. As you can see, the beautiful background as well. We have the logo right here. We have the navigations right here. And then we have the socials right here. And then we have the name. And then we have this moon background. If I should reload, you're going to see the transitions that comes in with. That means the background is different, it's separated from the object. So if I just scroll down, you're going to see the services, what I am great at. And you can see the beautiful transition that brought them in. As well, we have a counter right here for projects completed, happy clients, success score. And right here, you have the portfolio. And as you can see, the portfolio is in black and white, but there are also sliders. If I should hover over it, it has colors right here. As you can see, if I should hover over it, it has colors. Colors are present, as you can see, and I can slide across them like that. If I just scroll down, you see we have the bullet point right here. And then we have the companies you've worked with, something like that. And then we have the reviews and testimonial. Now, this is a beautiful grid, unlike the regular layout you are used to, where you have sliders, so you just have them listed out. This is a beautiful grid system with just Elementor. And then if you scroll down, you're going to see the contact section, a form, and then the socials again. Then we have the footer, which is very simple. If I just scroll up, you'll notice when I click on any of these, it scrolls down to where I want to be. So it's a one-page website. If I click on what I do, it comes down and there's a scroll back to top. If I click on contact, it scroll down, it brings me here. One other feature you need to see is all this case study or this portfolio are dynamic pages. It's not like I have to design each page for each case study. All of them are being shown dynamically. So if I should click on this, let me just click on this. As you can see, it opens up in another page, and then we have this layout. We have the hero section with this beautiful background, and then we have this image. As you can see, the way they came in is sliding from the right, so we have them overlapped over another. Then we have a brief description of what this case study is, what this particular project entails. We have the description right here. We have the built with WordPress, project type, DevOps, niche, finance. And as I said, everything is being displayed dynamically. I didn't custom build the page for each case study. So each case study, you just have to input it from the backend, and then it's going to take this form. And then we have a button to see the live site. If I click on that, it also opens in another page and it brings you to the live site. So this is one of the case study of Bloxy team, and that's the team we're going to be using for this tutorial as well. If I just scroll down, you can see what client wanted. So more like the problem the client had and my solution. So we have what clients wanted, we have my solution displayed well. Also, these are generated dynamically, and then we have other pages right here that the client can quickly see without actually clicking or seeing the live website. So let's assume you are a website designer, you are a developer, or you are into app designs and app development, and you've done your app development and designs. It's always better you have a screenshot of whatever you've developed in case the client changes the design later on. So even if you don't have access to the live website again, you can do this to display your portfolio. As you can see, it is simple and straightforward. And then that's all about this portfolio. It is the front page, is a single page website, and the case study. So this website is very simple and it is practical. You don't have to add a bunch of things to your portfolio website to make it irrelevant. And this is what we're going to be building in this tutorial. So one thing I want to mention as well is we're going to be using WordPress, and we're going to be using a page builder called Elementor. My name is Moses, and without any further ado, let's get right into the video. To proceed, we need to get a domain name and a host. A domain name is basically the address to your website. Like we have same for something like facebook.com, instagram.com, twitter.com. All those platforms have what we call a domain name. And the reason why you are able to access those platforms is because they actually have a domain name. So you need to get a domain name, and also you need to get a host. A host is more like a storage, an online storage where your website is being kept so that people can have access to it. So we're going to be needing those two things to start building the portfolio website. If you don't have money for a host and a domain name yet, you can build the website locally on your computer. You can use something like XAMPP. You can use something like local WP. Just try to find them online, download them, install them on your computer, and install WordPress on it. Then you can continue following the tutorial. But if you are building this portfolio website with the main purpose of having a portfolio for yourself, then you need to get a domain name and a host. So to get a domain name and a host, I personally used to use Spantrix to host all my domain names on all the websites I've built both for myself and for clients. So let me just show you an example. If you come right here, this is my normal client account, Spantrix account that I used to host real-time websites. And as you can see, I have over 15 services, 15 domain names currently active on the platform. So I won't be showing you a platform that doesn't work. That means for me to be using it for my personal clients, it works. So I'm going to show you how to get a domain name and a host from Spantrix. So to do that, there's a link in the description below where you can click on to bring you to this particular page. So I'm going to come to hosting and you're going to click on see all offers for shared hosting. So it depends on your budget. It depends on your pocket. If you want to go for WordPress hosting, you can go for it. If you want to go for limitless hosting, you can go for it as well. But personally, for this tutorial, I'm going to be going with the shared hosting. So I'm going to click on see all offers. Now that will bring you to this particular page. I'm going to scroll down and then you see all the packages available for shared hosting. So we have the alpha, the beta, we have the gamma. So basically for clients who wants a real-time website, a website that will be available publicly, I usually go with either gamma or I go with delta. But if it's a very robust website, I go with epsilon or zeta. But for the purpose of this particular tutorial, I'm going to be going with the beta. So I'm going to click on purchase now. Now this brings me to this page. And the next thing you want to do is you want to input the domain name you want to use. So I'm just going to input Intavas. And one thing with Spantrix hosting is if you are going with a year package, if you are going with a year hosting, you are going to get a free domain name of either .com.ng or .org.ng. Free if you are paying for a 1 year hosting, regardless of the package you are going with, be it the smallest one or even the highest. If you are going with the highest, you can get free.com. But for this particular package I chose, I'm going to get free.com.ng or a free.org.ng. But if you want to buy a domain name for your personal use for your website, definitely you want to go with .com or .org or something similar. But if you are just buying it for the purpose of this tutorial, you can even buy .name.ng or you go with .org.ng that comes free or .com.ng that comes free. So I'm going to use Intavas. I'm going to click on this drop down and I'm going to select .org.ng. I'm going to click on check. So this is going to check if the domain name is available. So that's one of the things you need to pay attention to. When you are picking a domain name, you want to pick a domain name that's easy to spell and that is available. So as you can see, this is telling me that intavas.org.ng is available. The .com is not available because I already bought it before for my personal use. So I'm going to click on continue. And right here, this is where you can set the duration of the host you want to buy. So right underneath it, you're going to see 1 month price. It's 800 Naira. If I click on that, it's going to give me a drop down. And then we have 3 month price. We have 6 month price. We have 12 month price. And as you can see from 12 months, the price reduced with a free domain. So I'm going to click on 12 month price. And as you can see, it is 8,000 Naira to pay for 12 months. If I go with monthly, I'll be paid 800 Naira monthly, and that will be a lot. So if you are not in Nigeria and you also want to use Spantrix, you can go ahead with less than few dollars. You can get a host and free domain as well. So we have this. I'm going to click on continue, and then it brings me to this page. Definitely everyone loves free stuff. I'm just going to click on the DNS management. It is free for the first year, and I think 1 year. Yeah. So I'm going to click on continue. So it brings me here. As you can see, the domain name registration is 0 Naira because they gave it to me for free. It is a .org.ng and that comes for free with the package I bought. If you want a free.com, you may need to go for higher packages like Epsilon or the higher ones, and you're going to get a free.com domain. So right here, I'm going to click on checkout. And here you need to input your first name, your last name, your email address, your phone number. Then you input your company name, which is optional, your street address, and fill in all the details. And now, if you are buying the domain name for a client, not for yourself, you need to fill a different contact details for your clients. to be on the safer side, because some people build websites. There are some clients, they build websites for the main purpose of money laundering or fraud. So if that client in particular use the website to perform fraudulent activities, if they will trace it, they're going to trace it back to your phone number and your email address. And if an arrest is needed to be made, you're going to be the one to be arrested. So that is why I do advise people, when you're buying a domain name for a client you don't know or you don't trust, always make sure you use their own details to buy the domain name. You can use your details to buy the host, but the domain name, use their details because it is going to be available publicly. So for this purpose, since I'm buying for myself, it's my domain name, it's my host, I can use the default contact details above for both the domain name and the host. Now, because I already have an account with Spantrix, I don't need to fill this again. I can just click on already registered. So this will make me log in into my existing account. So I'm going to input it here. So this is my existing account, and I'm going to use default contact details above as well. And preferred payment method, I'm just going to select Rave by Flutterwave. I think that's the only option available. I'm going to click on I have read and agreed to the terms of service, and I'm going to click on complete order. So it's going to bring you to a page like this one where you can input your card details, add your CVV and every other thing. And you can also decide to save your card against another time you're going to be making payment. But I don't use my card for this particular payment. If you have Google Pay, you can make use of Google Pay. But one method I like using most of the time is the bank transfer, especially for those in Nigeria. If you're not in Nigeria, you want to use either Google Pay or use your card. One of those two options. So I'm going to do bank transfer. It is going to give me an account. So I'm going to transfer to right here. Once I make the transfer, I'm going to notify them I have made this bank transfer. They're going to confirm from their end, automated right here, and then my order is going to be processed. So I just made payment with transfer. Now, once I made the payment, the next thing I want to do is I want to click on I have made this bank transfer. So it's going to take some few seconds for it to be processed and confirmed. And definitely once that is done, as you can see, just confirm the payment, and then I'm going to wait for a redirection. Make sure you don't close this page. Make sure you wait for a redirection to be redirected back to your account to show that your order has been processed. So our payment has been confirmed and our order has been processed and our host and domain has been set up. As you can see right here, I waited for the redirection. Sometimes it can take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes because it is trying to set up your account, and you need to be patient while this is going on after your payment has been confirmed, especially if you use transfer. But if you use card, I think that is faster. But personally, I just prefer using the transfer method. So right here, we have our order confirmation. And one thing you want to do is just go to the home right here, not this one, but this one right here. And as you can see, we have one service that's active. We'll click on that. And we have this. So this is our account I just bought, intavas.org.ng. Now, the reason why you are seeing a cancel right here is because we just bought it. And there's what we call propagation in domain name and hosting. That means if you buy a domain name, it needs to be propagated. It needs to be available across the world. And this takes between 24 to 48 hours. So when you buy a domain name, you just have to be patient for it to propagate properly before you can start using it. So I've bought the domain and host. I'm going to wait till it is done propagating before I continue recording or editing the tutorial. And once that is done, I'm going to come back to continue the video. So in your own case, don't panic. Definitely, you're going to watch the video at a stretch. So once you buy your domain name and host, you need to wait for some hours. It may not be up to 24 hours. Sometimes it could be 24 hours, sometimes even 48 hours. That's just the way it is. You need your domain name to propagate properly. So another way to check if a domain name has propagated is to use what we call DNS checker. So I'm going to come here to type in DNS checker right there. I'm going to come here to copy this domain. Let me copy this domain name and check if the domain name is available. So I'm going to come here. The one I use most of the time is this particular one, dnschecker.org. I'm going to click on that. And what you want to do is just paste your domain name right here, and you want to click on search. As you can see, it is giving me all red. That means the domain name is yet to propagate. Now, once it is resolved, you are going to see all this red marked as resolved. As you can see, this is all the available DNS and servers across around the world. So you want it to be available both in Africa and every part of the world for your domain name to be accessible publicly. So chill for a few hours, 24 hours, 48 hours, then continue the tutorial. So it's been roughly 10 hours and I just came back to check the domain name again and it's done propagating. So basically I was checking through the emails I got from Spantrix and I noticed there's a way you can actually access your website with an alternate domain name without actually waiting for your domain name to propagate. So if you bought your domain name or your host from Spantrix or any other host and the domain name is not accessible yet, always check your email to see if they give you a kind of IP or alternate domain name that you can use to access the website to follow the tutorial without actually waiting for the domain name to propagate. So as you can see here, my domain name has propagated and now we can proceed with the tutorial. So to install WordPress on my host, I'm going to come to spantrix.com. Most times I prefer logging into Spantrix cPanel through the dashboard, the admin dashboard. So I'm going to come to client area. So usually when you buy a domain name and a host, you're going to be given logins to cPanel. So you can log in directly to your cPanel or you just go through your user dashboard. So I'm going to come to services and right here you can just come to active and then you're going to see your active domain name. And I'm going to click on this and right here to the left you're going to see login to cPanel. So I'm going to click on login to cPanel right here and that will log me directly into the Spantrix cPanel account. So right here this is my Spantrix cPanel account and cPanel usually looks the same across all hosts except from some hosts that have their own custom built control panel dashboards. Platforms like Namecheap, SiteGround, GoDaddy I think have a kind of unique cPanel account. So all you need to do now is to scroll down and right here you're going to see WordPress. So the app we're going to be using to install WordPress on our cPanel is called the Softaculous Apps Installer. So I'm going to click on WordPress. That brings you to a page like this one. What you're going to do is just click on install and you're going to get this drop down. So right here, let's assume you have more than 2 domain name on this particular host. You can click on this drop down. It's going to show you your domain name and you can select the domain name you want to install WordPress on. So I want to install WordPress on intavas.org.ng. And one thing you also want to do is you want to make sure you don't have anything inside this box. You want to install WordPress directly on the domain name, not in a subdirectory. So let's assume you want to install WordPress in something like intavas.org.ng slash maybe blog or slash portfolio. Then you can add a directory right here. But in my own case, I want to install WordPress directly on the domain name. So now that we have that, I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to fill in the site name and the site description. So for the site name, I'm going to make it something like David Maxwell. And for the site description, I'm just going to put something like websites, freelance website developer, freelance website designer, freelance website designer, something like that. Then right here you're going to fill in your admin username and your admin password. For the admin email, you can use admin@intavas.org.ng or admin@yourdomainname.ng, whatever. You can also use your Gmail right here, but personally I prefer using a business email, which is something like the admin@intavas.org.ng. Along the tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create a custom business email like this one. So just go ahead to fill in your username, the username you want to use, and put in your password, then scroll down to click on install. So I've filled in my username and my password and I'm going to go ahead to click on install. So this is going to process the installation. The installation process is going to take like few seconds to few minutes depending on how fast your network and your host is. And once that is done, you're going to get a page like this one. So the first link links directly to the website. So let's click on that and let's see what we have on our website. As you can see, we have this demo content on the website pre-installed. So we're going to get rid of this with time and we're going to make our website look like this. Then aside the link to the main website, there's another link right here that links to the admin dashboard of the website. So you can click on this and it's going to log you directly into the admin dashboard of the website. But in my own case, I prefer adding a /login right here so that I can save the logins to my website on my browser in case of other time that I need to log in. So I'm just going to come here and I'm going to type in my username and my password right here, and then I'm going to click on remember me and go ahead to click on login. And yes, so I'll be logged in into the admin dashboard of our website. So I can go ahead to click on save my password I'm going to just close this, and then we have this dashboard. This is looking a little bit messy. So when I install WordPress, the first set of things I do is to clean up my dashboard. To do that, just come to the screen options right here and untick all these guys to have a clean canvas. Then after doing that, I come to settings, I come to permalinks to change the link structure of my website. So currently, as you can see, we have day and name showing in the link structure of the website. You are going to change to post name. Now, the reason why we're changing to post name is so that the link, the URL for any page of our website can be pretty, can be cool, can look good, can be readable. If you select any of these guys right here, you're going to be seeing a bunch of strings and stuff in your URL. So now that I've selected post name, just go ahead and click on save changes. So after doing that, I'm going to come to plugins, and sometimes WordPress used to install some demo plugins with your installation, so you need to get rid of that as well. I'm just going to select this checkbox and I'm going to delete these guys. I'm going to click on OK, and after doing that, I'm going to come to pages and I'm going to get rid of these guys as well. I'm going to move to trash. I'm going to click on apply and then come to trash to delete them permanently. So click on this checkbox again, click on delete permanently and click on apply. After doing that, I'm going to come to post and do the same thing. I'm going to trash this, then go to trash to delete it permanently. So after doing that, the next one to do now is to install the theme we're going to be using to build this website. So I'm going to come to appearance, I'm going to come to themes, and by default, WordPress gives you like 3 themes that I can work with, but personally I don't like working with these themes except I want to build the website with Gutenberg. But in this case, we'll be using Elementor page builder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on add new theme, and right here I'm going to search for Blocksy, which is the theme we're going to be using to build the portfolio website. So right here we have Blocksy. I'm going to click on install and then proceed to activate. So now we have our own theme installed and activated. We can go ahead to delete these other guys. I'm going to click on theme details. I'm going to click on delete. I'm going to do the same for the remaining themes. So now that we've gotten rid of the demo themes that we have right here, the next thing we need to do is we need to install all the plugins we'll need in building the website. To do that, just come to plugins and click on add new plugin. So the first plugin we're going to be installing is going to be the advanced custom field. Just type in ACF and this is going to come up. You're going to see advanced custom fields right here. Just click on install now. The next plugin we need to install is the Elementor. So just type in Elementor right here and then proceed to click on install. The next plugin we're installing is going to be Blocksy Companion. It's a plugin that works hand in hand with the theme we're going to be using to build this portfolio website. So just type in Blocksy right here, and then you're going to see a plugin that says Blocksy Companion. So right here, just click on install now. Then one other plugin we will need to install is going to be the duplicate page. The reason why we're installing this plugin is so that our workflow can be fast. It's not needed, but at some instances we may need to create, when we are creating the case study and portfolio, instead of having to create the portfolio again from scratch, we're just going to duplicate them to make the video shorter. So I'm just going to come here to search for duplicate post. So right here we have duplicate post. I'm going to click on install now. So now that we have all the plugin we need, I'm going to come back to installed plugins and you're going to see all this plugin right here. What you want to do is click on this checkbox. It's going to select everything. Come right here, click on activate and click on apply. So you may be redirected to a page like this. That's the problem with the plugins. Just come back to plugins, installed plugins, and this will take you back to the install plugin page. Just click on skip and then you have all your plugins activated. So one other plugin we are going to be needing, which is very important, is the Elementor Pro. Now this Elementor what we have right here is the free version, and the Elementor Pro is the pro version we're going to be needing to build the dynamic pages we built. So I'm going to show you the dynamic page right here. If you just scroll down, this stuff right here are dynamic, they are not fixed. So if I add another portfolio from the back end, the image is going to change. And also when I click on it, this page is being built with Elementor, and some of the features we need to build this page is present in the Elementor Pro. So Elementor Pro works hand in hand with the advanced custom fields. To get Elementor Pro, just find the link in the description below, click on it and purchase Elementor Pro. When you click on the link, you get to a page like this one. Just allow the cookies and then you're going to see this. So to purchase one Elementor Pro, you're going to just pay $59 US for one website, and then let's assume you want to build 2-3 websites, you can go for this package. If you want to start freelancing already, or probably a website you want to build, you can go with this package. And let's assume you are a big time freelancer, you can go with this package. But for the main purpose of this tutorial, you can just go ahead with this. Go ahead to purchase your Elementor Pro, download it, and then continue with the tutorial. So after purchasing your Elementor Pro, what you want to do is you want to come back to your website right here, and you're going to click on add new plugin here. So right here, what you want to do is you're going to click on upload plugin, you're going to click on choose file, and you're going to find the Elementor Pro you bought and downloaded. So I'm going to select mine right here, and I'm going to click on open. Then I'm going to proceed to click on install now. So during the upload process, you may get hit by this error. Don't panic, there's a quick fix for it. So what you do is go back to your cPanel, log into your cPanel, come down to file manager. I'm going to click on that. And right here, you're going to come to public HTML, and this is where the files and folder of your website is being installed. So what you want to look for is the .htaccess. If you can't find the .htaccess right here, just come to settings and click on show hidden files. Click on save, and then right here you're going to see the .htaccess. Click on that and click on edit. I'm going to edit this, and right here you need to add a line of code. So I'm going to paste it. It says php_value space, then upload_marks_file size, then 256M, capital letter M. The code is going to be in a txt file inside the resource folder for this particular video. So once you do that, just click on save changes, and what you just want to do is come back to this page, click on reload and continue. So as you can see, now the error is gone and our plugin has been uploaded successfully. So what you want to do is just click on activate plugin, and we are good to go. All our plugins have been uploaded and activated. To start building our website, we need to create the pages. So to create pages, you just come right here to this menu right here. You're going to click on add new page. So this brings you here. You can just close this, and I'm going to create a page that is home page. And after creating that, I'm going to come to template. I'm going to select default templates, and I'm going to come here. I'm going to select Elementor full width. Once I've done that, I'm going to click on publish. Now that it has been published, I'm going to make my entire screen full. So I'm just going to click on full screen mode. So now that we have this, the next thing I want to do is I want to create our menus. If I should come to our reference website, right here, you notice we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 menus. To create the menus, I'm just going to come right here to appearance. Then I'm going to come to menus. So right here, I'm going to create our menu. Our menu is going to be main menu, and it's going to be our header menu 1 and our mobile menu. Though we're not going to be using mobile menu for this tutorial, but just in case, you can just select mobile menu. And I'm going to click on create menu. So now that we've created our menu, we need to create our submenus. So I'm going to come here, I'm going to come to custom links, and I'm going to just put a placeholder right here. And right here we have what I do. So we have what I do. I'm going to click on add to menu. As you can see, it has been added here. I'm going to do the same for the rest. I'm going to put a placeholder, come back right here, case studies. I'm going to add to menu. And then we have testimonials and contacts. Now that we've added all our menus, we can go ahead to click on save menu. So now that we have that, if I should come here and I click on visit website, I'm going to open this in another tab. We're going to see what our website looks like. So currently, this is what the website looks like. We have the menus, and then we have this. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come here to set our home page. We only created the page, we are here to set it. So to set it, you need to come to settings, and then you need to come to reading. So right here, you are going to see your home page displays. What you do is you're going to click on a static page right here. You're going to select this radio button. You're going to come to home page, click on that, then select the page you created. I'm going to select this, and I'm going to click on save changes. So now that we have that, if I should come here and reload, we should have a blank canvas to work with, as you can see. So the next thing we want to do now is we want to customize our WordPress theme. We need to set the color, the font, and every other things. To do that, you can just come back right here, and right here you're going to see under appearance, you're going to see customize. You can just open this in another tab. So now that we are here, what we're going to do is we're going to go over the settings one by one. The first thing I love doing is to set my typography. To do that, just come to typography, click on it, and right here, this is where you can set the typography of your website. So for this particular website, we're going to be using Montserrat type font. So I'm going to click on base font. So the one I want to use is going to be Montserrat, this one right here. So I'm just going to click on this, and then I'm going to click on I understand. I'm going to click on continue. So now that we have that, as you can see, the font just changed. We already set our base font, which is all we need to do. The next thing I love setting is the colors. So I'm going to come to colors, and by default, WordPress gives you this color. And what we're going to be using is going to be orange and red. As you can see, if you come to the demo website right here, as you can see, we have orange and a kind of yellow. So I already opened up the demo website right here, so I can copy the color code. Inside the resources provided for this particular video as well, you are going to see a txt file. It contains the color code as well. But for my own case, I'm just going to copy the color code from here. So make sure you've downloaded the resource file, find the txt file, and copy the color code from there. So I'm going to copy the first color code, and I'm going to come back right here. I'm going to paste the color code here, and I'm going to come back right here to the second one. I'm going to copy the code. I'm going to select this as well. I'm going to paste the color code. I'm going to come to the third one. I'm going to copy this color code as well. I'm going to come here. I'm going to paste the color code, and I'm going to come here as well to the last, to this one. I'm going to copy the color code, and right here as well, I'm going to come here and I'm going to paste the color code. So the remaining colors right here is exactly the same thing as what we have right here. So we don't need to change anything. So now that we've done that, everything is set, you can go ahead to click on publish. I'm going to come back right here, and the next thing we want to do is we want to work on our header. You notice for the header right here, this is a transparent header. And if you scroll down for the footer, we have this. So let's start with the header. I'm going to come back to the header right here, and right here we're going to edit the header. For the logo, we're going to be going with the site title. So the site title we used here is Dave. I can just close this. The site title we use here is Dave. I'm going to come back right here, and this is going to be Dave, as you can see. So to edit it, I'm going to come to designs, and I'm going to change it to I'm going to change the font weight to something like 600 or even 500. So semi-bold 600. As you can see, this is way tinier. So I'm going to make it something like 500. So this is exactly what we have here, 500. And I'm going to close that. I'm going to click on these three dots right here, and I'm going to make it all uppercase. So now that we have it as uppercase, if you come here, you notice there's a bit of space in between these guys. I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to come to letter spacing, and let's try one. That's too much. Let's try 0.5. So 0.5 is very similar to what we have right here, and this is looking good. The next now to edit is the size of this font. So you can install a Chrome plugin that can let you click on any text on your browser, and it will tell you the makeup. So I'm going to click on this. As you can see, it is Montserrat 400 weight, and it is 20 pixels in size. So I'm going to close this. I'm going to exit my Word font. I'm going to come here. So this should be 400, and it is 20 pixels in size. So we have that, and this is looking good. So now that we have that, the next thing we want to do is we want to work on the menus right here. So for the menus, we have this. I'm going to click on my Word font Chrome plugin as well. I'm going to select this. As you can see, it's Montserrat 600, and it is 12 pixels and all uppercase. So I'm going to come back right here. I'm going to select the menu one. I'm going to come to design, and this is 12 pixels, Montserrat 600 or 700 baud. I think 700 baud. So I think everything is looking good for the menus. And for this part, you notice we don't have elements in the word font. We don't have any search icon right here. So what you do is you come back right here. You can just close the search icon that we have right here, and that is going to disappear. So now that we have that, for the main row, as you can see, the space right here is too much compared to what we have right here. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to select this main row. I'm going to reduce this to something like 80, which is very similar to what we have on the website. So I'm going to come to tablet, and for tablet, we're going to get rid of the trigger as well. And then for mobile, same thing, no trigger, everything's looking good. So I'm going to come back to desktop. You're going to come right here to headers, and this is where we select the type of header we want. So we want a transparent header. I'm going to click on that. Everything's looking good for the designs. Default state, can make default state black. And once we start building our website, the website is going to be transparent. So now that we have that, the next thing we want to do is let's set the five icon of the website. This is the five icon of our website. I'm going to scroll down, and right here you're going to see site identity. So click on site identity, click on select icon, click on select files. Inside the resources folder that you downloaded for this particular video, you're going to see a five icon right there. I'm going to select that. I'm going to click on open, and that should install directly inside your website. So now that we have that, I'm going to click on select, and I'm going to click on crop image. So as you can see, now we have our five icon displaying here. I'm going to click out of this, and for now, that is all we need to do on the customize page for now. We've done our typography, we've done the header, and I think we are missing one thing, which is the footer. I'm going to come back to the footer, and for the footer of this, we have something like copyright at 2024, then 7+ years of experience. I'm going to come here, and then for the footer, I'm going to select this guy. And as you can see, we already have the copyright, the current year is being picked for us. I'm just going to select this guy, and I'm going to put 7+ years of experience. So now that we have that, the next thing I want to do is I just want to make this guy align to the center. So horizontal alignment, we're going to select this and this as well. So now that we have that, we can go ahead to change the color. I'm going to select bottom row. I'm going to come to designs. I'm going to select row background, and I'm going to select this color. Then for the copyright itself, I'm going to select that. I'm going to come to designs, and then for the color, it's going to be white, and everything should just be white right here. And then our logo is looking good. Everything is looking good right here on the customize page, and I think we are done with the customization for now. I'm going to go ahead to click on publish, and that is looking good. We can go ahead to close this page. So to start creating our website, we need to come to our dashboard, come to pages, and then we have the home page right here. I'm going to click on edit. So I'm just going to open this in another tab, and right here we can click on edit with Elementor. So you get a page like this one. You can just close this, and then we have this. You can close this as well. Then this is looking good. So this is where we're going to be creating our home page. So we are going to be starting with the hero section. To build the hero section, we're going to drag in a container right here. I'm just going to select this, and I'm going to drag this right in. So after dragging it in, I'm going to come to advanced. I'm going to unchain the padding, and then at the top, I'm going to give it 100 pixels padding, and then to the bottom, I'm going to give it 100 pixels as well. Then I'm going to come to style. I'm going to come to background type. I'm going to select gradient, and then for the upper part, we're going to have something like this, and then for the lower part, we can select our color code right here, something like this, or something even darker. And then for the upper part, I'm going to adjust it to be a little bit less bright, something like that. And then I'm going to change it from linear to gradient to radial. And this is all we want to achieve right here. For our logo, we still need to do some settings right here. So to quickly fix that, I'm going to come right here to our dashboard. I'm going to come to appearance. I'm going to come to customize, and I'm going to come to header. I'm going to select logo, and then I'm going to come to design. So the default color should be white. Same thing right here. Transparent should be white. And then on hover, we can have the yellow. If you want, you can make it white as well. I'm going to select the menu. I'm going to come to design. And the default state for the transparent should be white. And then on hover, you can have it as this, or even active, same thing. So I'm just going to leave it the way it is, or let's just make everything pure white instead. So now that we have that, I'm going to publish. We can close the page, come back to our edit page. I'm going to click on update so that the things we've done since is going to be saved, and I'm going to click on reload. So as you can see now, our logo has been fixed, and this is looking good as well. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to start building out the website like what we have right here. To do that, I'm going to drag in another container into this part. right? And then I'm going to come here, I'm going to drag in an image. So I'm going to come to choose image, and in the resource folder as well, you're going to see the image you need to use right here. So the image you want to use is this particular one right here, the one that says aeropig.png. I'm going to click on open, and I'm going to click on select. So now the image fills the screen. So what you're going to do is click on this drop down, set it to full. So I'm going to come back to edit this container. To do that, as you can see, we can't click the container right here because we're working with a transparent header. What you can do is just click on this navigator right here. I'm going to click on the container, and then for the bottom, we want to get rid of the bottom padding that we gave it, so that this guy can touch the bottom. So I'm going to select its own container. I'm going to select this, come to advanced, and then unchain the padding. As you can see, it is now touching the bottom of the screen. So we can close our navigator, and this is looking good. The next thing we want to do is we want to start adding this orange background. But as you can see, this is looking smaller than what we have here. To fix that, we need to reduce the size of the image. So I'm going to click on the image right here. I'm going to click on this pen right here for the image. I'm going to come to style, and then for the width, I'm going to change it to something like 75. I think this is looking good. Let's make it 73. So this is looking good so far. The next thing I want to do is I want to add the background moon right here. So I'm going to come here, and I'm going to drag in another image to the bottom right here. I'm just going to drag that in. I'm going to select this, and I'm going to upload the moon image as well. So we have it right here, aeroorange.png. I'm going to click on open, and then I'm going to click on select. So we have the image right here. This is looking way too big. I'm going to come to image resolution. I'm going to change to full. And one thing I want to do is I want to change the size of the image. So to do that, I'm going to come back right here to custom, and I'm going to give this 700 pixels by 700 pixels. I'm going to click on apply. So as you can see, the image is now smaller. The next thing we want to do is we want to take this image behind this particular image. So to do that, we're going to come to advanced, and we're going to look for position. We're going to change the position to absolute. Now the position is absolute, but the image is above our image right here. So what we're going to do is we need to use what we call Z index. So Z index allows you to position objects and images with HTML and CSS above one another. So the higher the Z index, the higher it be on top. So the one with lower Z index is going to be at the bottom. So this moon is going to have a lower Z index, while the image is going to have a higher Z index. So for the image, since we're already on the moon image, I'm going to come right here, scroll down, and you're going to see a Z index right here. So I'm going to give this a Z index of 1, and then I'm going to select the image. I'm going to come to advanced, and I'm going to give it a Z index of something like, let's say 2. So far, it is higher than the image. That is the most important thing. So now that we've done that, the next thing we want to do is we want to position the image behind our object right here. So to do that, you're going to make use of this offset. But to select the offset, since we can't select our moon image right here, you can use the navigator again. Under our first container, this is our first container, the big one right here. Then we have this inner container, which is this one. Then we have the first image, which is our image right here. Then we have this image, which is the moon. As you can see, immediately I selected it, it's created a kind of border and outline around the moon image. So now that we've done that, if you scroll down, you're going to see something like offset. So this allows you to move the image. As you can see, you can use to move the image around. So I'm going to set this one to 0, while this one is going to be something like 23. So let's go ahead to update it, and let's see what that looks like on the front end. So I'm going to click on this preview changes, and it's going to open another tab for me to see what that looks like on the front end. As you can see, this is not what position behind it. So I'm going to play with the adjuster until I see something that's directly behind our object. So to get this circle directly behind this object, I'm going to change this to %. That was best for me, especially when building this kind of website. And I'm going to try to use 27%. So it has moved it a little bit further. But if I should click on this to check what it looks like it is directly behind it. So I'm just going to go ahead to click on update, and let's see what we have right here. And as you can see, it is looking like it is slightly behind it, but we still need to do a little bit of adjustment. So what I'm going to do is, it looks like we have a little bit too much space at the top. So I'm going to reduce the space at the top. I'm going to come back right here. I'm going to select the mother container that we added 100 pixel padding to. So I'm going to change this to something like 20. I'm going to click on update. So this is looking like what we have right here. But one thing is still not looking good, which is the position of this particular moon. It is still way to the right, so we need to adjust that. So I'm going to come back right here. I'm going to select the moon image, and then I want to slowly reduce it. So I'm going to make it 23%. I'm going to click on update. So this is now looking way better. It's looking exactly like what we have right here. And yeah, this is looking good. And the next thing we want to do now is we want to start adding these menus, these social icons, and then the name. To add the social icons, I'm going to come back right here, and I'm going to click on this hamburger right here. I'm going to search for social, and as you can see, we have social icons. I'm going to scroll all the way down. I'm going to drag and drop it right here as well. Just put it below here, and it's going to show up right here. So what we're going to do next is we're going to come to columns. The columns is going to be 1, and then we're going to come to shape. We're going to make it circle, and I'm just going to align it to the left. I'm going to come to design, but to style. But before we go to style, we have to change the size and the icons right here. So we have CodePen, Instagram, Stack Overflow, and Dribble. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to select the first one, which is CodePen. CodePen right here. You can add the link to it. I'm just going to put Instagram.com right there. Instagram.com. What you want to do is you want to select this link option, and you want to make sure it is on open in a new window. So when they click on it, it opens in a new window. I'm just going to close this too and just duplicate. I'm going to select this, and this should be Instagram. And this should be CodePen rather. This should be CodePen. So https codepen.com, and this is going to be Instagram. https instagram.com, and then this is going to be Stack Overflow, and this should be stackoverflow.com. So https stackoverflow.com, and then the last one is Dribble. So we have Dribble right here. I'm going to select this, and this should be dribble.com. So now that we have all the icons right there and everything set, we're going to come to style, and then for the color, we're going to select custom, and then for the primary color, it should be white, and the secondary color should be white. So for the primary color, now that we have that, I'm just going to bring it down to make it transparent. So we have just the icon left. And then I'm going to come down to border. The border should be solid and should be 1 pixel. And then the color of the border should be white. So now that we have that, we can go ahead to work on the spacing. So for the size, we can go with something like 16. Let's see how close that looks here. So I think 16 works fine, or even 17. Can go with 17. And then for the spacing right here, you can just give it something like 10 or 5. Let's go with row gap, so give it 10. So that is looking good, similar to what we have right there. I'm just going to increase this to 15. So now that we've increased it to 15, as you can see, it is not where we want it to be. What we're going to do is we're going to use position absolute. So before we do that, I need to add some kind of animation to it. If you come to this one, you notice it has a kind of jiggle animation. So I'm going to come back right here. We're going to scroll down under icon hover. We're going to select that, and we're going to select one of this animation. So let me just go with the hang. So it's going to hang. You can just play around and select the one you want. So this is Q, and this is Bob. You can see. And we have sync, we have bounce, we have pop, we have push. So I think the one I used was wobble. On wobble bottom, yeah, that's it. So now that we have that, just come to advanced, come to position, it's going to be absolute. So it's going to jump all the way up. So what you do is just select this bottom, and I'm going to click on update to see what it looks like so far. So now that we have this, the next one to do is you want to start playing with this guy to position it. And if you see, you notice it distorted moon image a little bit. But let's quickly work on this guy. So I'm just going to come back here, and I'm going to come to the offset. So as I said before, you can play with this or play with this, and then it's going to move. So I'm just going to set this to be 70 because I've done it before, and this is going to be 400, something like this. Let's go ahead to click on update, and let's see what that looks like. So this is way too up. To bring this icon to the left a little bit again, instead of playing with the offset now, I want to make the hero section a little bit bigger. To achieve that, I'm going to come to this container. I'm going to come to the width, and I want to change it to 1450. So let's go ahead to update, and now we have this, which is exactly what we have here, very similar. So what I want to do now is we just need to push this guy down. So to achieve that, I'm going to come back to the social icons. I'm going to scroll down, and then for the offset, we'll need to play with it. Let's give it 100. I'm going to click on update, and that is way down. So we're going to bring it up a little bit. So let's say we give it something like 150. I'm going to click on update, and this is up, which is exactly what we have right here. So if you look at this, the background of this is a little bit darker than what we have here. So I'm just going to quickly fix that. I'm going to click on the container, come to style, and just make this guy a little bit dark, something like that. And then for this guy, I'm going to bring it down a little bit, just like that. I'm going to click on update. I think this is way too dark now, so I'm going to bring it up a little bit, then click on update, and now we have this, which is exactly what we want. If you look at this, you notice our moon image has been distorted a little bit. So I'm going to select the image. I'm going to come to advanced. Remember, I'm using percent, so I'm just going to change this to something like 27%. Let's go ahead to update it, and now this is looking more like what we want to achieve. So the next thing we want to do now is to add the name to the right, and to do that, we're going to be using position absolute as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here, I'm going to click on this hamburger, I'm going to look for heading, and I'm going to drag that below here. So we're going to have David, then I'm going to add a break, then we're going to have Maxwell. So after doing that, if you look at this, notice it is aligned to the right. I'm going to come back right here, then align it to the right, and just close this. Now it is aligned to the right. I'm going to come to style. It's going to be pure white. And for the size, we can go with something like 40 or even 50 pixels. And then for the weight, can go with something like 600. Let's try 500. I think 500 is looking good. I think we're going to make it a little bit tinier. We're going to go with 400, which is looking good. And then we're going to give it some letter spacing. So I'm going to come to the letter spacing. Let's try 10 pixels, or even 15. I think 10 is what will work. So 10 works fine. Then we're going to come to advanced, and we need to give it some position absolute. I'm going to make it absolute. As you can see, it has run up, so I'm going to align it to the right, and we're going to bring it to the bottom. So what we want to do is we want it to be at the top, so we're going to give it a Z index of something high, something like 5. I'm going to click on update, and let's see what that looks like. So now we have it right here. To bring it up, remember we need to play with the offset. So I'm going to do exactly that. So we're going to select it, we're going to come to the offset, and this time around I'm going to go with percent. So I'm just going to make this 4, and for this one as well, it's going to be percent. I'm going to make this 30%. I'm going to click on update, and let's see what that looks like. So now we have the image right there, and what we have here is exactly what we have here. So the next thing we want to build now is we want to build this part and also work on the mobile responsiveness of the hero section. So if I should come back right here, you notice when I inspect this, as you can see, this is scattered. I should select the pixel 7, as you can see, this is scattered. If I should look at the reference website and I inspect this, as you can see, this is having a different layout entirely. So let's quickly work on that. So to work on the mobile responsiveness, we are first going to start with the tablet. So I'm going to come here, I'm going to select iPad Air, something like this. And right here, I'm going to select iPad Air as well. So see, this is what we have right here, and we need to quickly fix it. So for this icon right here, I'm going to come here, I'm going to select responsive mode. I'm going to click on the iPad, and this is way too up. So I'm going to select my navigator. I'm going to select the social icon, and two things that we want to do is we want to bring this, let's make this something like 50 or even 40, and we want to bring it a little bit down. Let's do 100. I'm going to update and let's see what that looks like. So now this is looking like what we have here, but it's a little bit closer to the edge than what we have here. So I'm going to quickly fix that. So this should be something like 30 and this should be something like 90. I'm going to click on update. Now this is looking way better. Then for the background moon, what we want to do is we don't want it showing at the edge. So I'm going to click on the main container right here. I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to come to layout. I'm going to scroll down. And right here under overflow, we want to set it to hidden. And I'm going to click on update. As you can see, the overflow has disappeared. So what we want to do now is we need to reposition this moon. So for the moon, I'm going to come back right here. I'm going to select the moon right here. And for this position, we're going to make it something like 7. 7 is okay. We're going to click on update and let's see what we have. So this is looking good. So the next thing we want to do is we need to move this div to the bottom. To achieve that, I'm going to come back right here and I'm going to select the heading, which is this one. I'm going to come to advanced and this should be something like 33%. This should be something like 5%. Then I'm going to select the image, the text again. I'm going to come to the content and it should be aligned to the center. So let's go ahead to click on update and let's see what we have right here. So now we have David Maxwell right there, which is similar to what we have right here. It's looking good. So let's go to mobile, pixel 7. This is scattered. And let's go to pixel 7 right here. As you can see right here, the image is different. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this entire container. I'm going to select it. I'm going to come to advanced, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to select responsive and I'm going to hide it on mobile. I'm going to click on update. If I come here, you notice it is hidden, it has disappeared. So what we're now going to do now is we're going to create a different section for the mobile. So I'm going to come back to our edit page. I'm just going to duplicate this. Let's duplicate this entire container. I'm just going to right click. I'm going to click on duplicate. So you can close this. This is what I want to work with. We're going to come to mobile. And they're both hidden. So I'm going to select this, the second one. I'm going to come to advanced, come to responsive, and then unhide the second one. So what I'm going to do here is we need to delete all the guys we have right here. So I'm going to delete the image. I'm going to delete the heading and social icon, the image. I'm going to delete the second image as well. I'm going to leave the social icon. So I'm going to select the container. I'm going to come to style. I'm going to select classic. I'm going to choose image. I'm going to come to upload files, select files, and I'm going to select hero. So we have this hero pick, and then we should have another hero pick right here. So we have another hero pick right here that says hero BG mobile. I'm going to click on open, and then I'm going to select. So now that we have that, what you want to do is come to the layout part of the container, and then for the minimum height, you are going to change it to view height, VH. I'm going to make it 100. So now this is looking good. So we're going to come here and we want the image, the background image to be centered and contained. going to come to style. The image resolution is going to be full. The position is going to be center. The repeat, we have no repeat. And then display, we want it to cover. So now this is looking good. And then the next thing we want to do is we're going to select this guy. We're going to make it like plain, straight. So columns is going to be 4, just like this. And then we're going to come to style, should be 16 pixels. And then for the spacing, this is going to give it something like 15, just like that. And we need to change the position to default. So I'm going to come to advanced, and from position absolute is going to be position default. So after getting rid of the position absolute, we're going to select the inner container. We're going to select this, and we want to justify the content to the end. So now we have to the end. And what we're going to do now is we just align it. I'm going to select it, and we're going to come to content. We want to align it to the middle. And what we're going to do is we're going to give it some margin to the bottom. So I'm going to select the icon, come to advanced, I'll change the margin and give the margin bottom something like 30. This is looking good. And the next thing we want to do is we want to add the heading at the top. And this is going to be David. Style is going to be pure white. And I want to align it to the center. And this should be something like, let's go with 30 or 35. I think 35 is looking good. For the weight, can go with 600. And then for the transform, should be uppercase. And the line, the word spacing or the letter spacing can go with 10, something like that. I'm going to duplicate it, and this should be Maxwell. And I'm going to come to style, and this should be something like 300 or even 400. And this should be smaller. It should be 30. And let's see what we have here. Compared to what we have here, it's almost the same thing, but not exactly the same thing yet. So I still need to give it a little bit of margin bottom. So as you can see, we are having some space at the top here. We need to correct that. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to select this again, and I'm going to increase this to something like 100. Or better still, let's go with 80. I'm going to click on update. So what we're going to do is, what I love doing is I don't like having this icon at the top. So to quickly fix that, I'm going to come to the dashboard. I'm going to come to my profile. I'm going to click on edit profile, and show toolbar. I'm going to check that, and I'm going to click on update profile. Now that I've done that, if I should come here to check it now, this upper part should be gone. So now we have this. This is looking way better like what we have right here. So we're having a little bit of space at the top, and we quickly need to fix that. I'm just going to select the container right here. I'm going to remove this padding at the top. I'm going to click on update, and this has solved it for us. I'm going to select iPad mini. As you can see, this is not hidden for tablet, so we have to do that. So I'm going to select the container for the mobile, come to responsive. I want to add it for tablet and desktop. I'm going to click on update, and as you can see, this is looking good. What you notice is when I reload this, you are going to see a kind of animation. As you can see, a kind of animation brought this in. The entire image fits in before the moon fits in, so we need to do the animation as well. So I'm going to come back to the main screen. I'm going to select the entire container of the desktop, come to advanced, come to motion effects, and you want to select fading. So now that I've done that, we're going to give a different animation to the moon. I'm going to come to the moon image, also advanced, come to motion effect, fade in, but I want to give it a delay of something like 700. Click on update, and this is looking good. For the mobile, let's see the animation the mobile has. Let me just come to pixel 7 and let's reload. Let's see what that looks like. So we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to come here, come to mobile, and I'm going to select. So let's just close the first container. The second container is what we're using for the mobile. So I'm going to select the upper heading. I'm going to come to advanced motion effect, and this should be fade in up. I'm going to select the second heading, advanced, and motion effect, fade in up, and then we need to add a little bit of delay. But because we can add delay on mobile, I'm going to come to tablet, and I'm going to select this one again, come to motion effect. So we're going to select fade in up, and then we're going to select the second one, come to motion effect, should be fade in up as well. Then we're going to add a delay of 200. We're going to do the same for the social icon. We're going to select motion effect, fade in up, and this is going to be delay of 400. So let's go ahead and click on update. As you can see, we already have the animation. I'm going to reload. And as you can see, this is exactly what we want, and everything is looking good. So now that we have that, the next section we need to work on is going to be this section, which is more easier than what we have right here. To start building out this particular section, we'll need to enable the grid feature on Elementor. So I'm going to come back to my dashboard. Here I'm going to come to Elementor. I'm going to come to settings, and in settings you're going to come to features. Then right here you're going to see grid container. You're going to click on this, you're going to make it active. Scroll down to click on save changes. So now that we have that, I'm going to come back to my Elementor edit page. I'm going to reload this so I can now see the Elementor grid widget. So now right here you notice we now have a container and a grid. Previously we had only the container. So to start building out this particular section, I'm going to need a mother container. Then we're going to need a container for this and a container for this. So that will be mother container, container, container. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to create a container, a flexbox container now. So this container we're using right here is the same thing as this container right here. So you can either use this or use this anyone. So I'm just going to create a downward spiral, and inside it we're going to have a container, and then inside that container we're going to have two containers. So that'll be one. I'm going to duplicate this. So we have two containers. And I'm going to select this. I'm going to come to advanced. I'm going to change the padding. So padding top is going to be 100 and padding bottom is going to be 100 as well. So right here you notice the background color is a little bit light compared to what we have here. So I'm going to select this. I'm going to come to style. I'm going to come to background color. I'm going to select this, and I'm going to select what we have here. So to make it a little bit dark, I'm just going to bring it down like this. So this is what we have there, and the next thing we'll do is we'll start putting in our services and the text. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to drag in a heading text to the first container, and this is going to be services. I'm going to come to style. The color is going to be orange, and it's going to be aligned to the center, and this is going to be something like 14 pixels. This is going to be something like 400. And transform should be uppercase. So let's make it something like 16. Services. So we have services. We have services right here. So this background is a little bit darker than what we have here. So I'm going to quickly do that as well. So something like this works. And I'm just going to select my word font to see what we have here. So it's 400 and it is 18 pixels. So I'm going to exit this, and I'm going to do exactly that, 18 pixels. So the next one we have is the what I am great at. So I'm going to come here, drag in another heading, and this is going to be what I am great at. I'm going to come to style. This is going to be pure white, and I'm going to align it to the center. So I'm going to come here to see what the categories are. So it is 700 bold, it is 35 pixels in size. I'm going to close this. I'm going to come here to style, and then the weight is going to be 700 bold, and this is going to be 35 pixels. And as you can see, it is uppercase. I'm going to change this to transform uppercase, not uppercase now, capitalize. So capitalize. And next thing we have is this text. I'm going to come here to drag in the text editor, and this is going to be pure white as well, or we can just make it a little bit fade, and I'm going to centralize it as well. And what we're going to do for this particular one is we're going to come to advanced, and we're going to come to the width. So right here you're going to see the width right here. So we have the width right here. I'm going to select this. I'm going to select custom, and then I'm going to pull this to position it very well. So as you can see, it ends at neck. I'm going to do the same thing right here. So now that we have that one, we need to position to the middle. Then I'm going to select align self to the center. So basically we are done with the first part, which is this one. We need to do this part. As you can see, this part is a grid. So to start working on this part, I'm going to drag in a grid, and then the grid is going to be 4 columns and 1 row, something like this. And inside that grid, we are going to have another container to separate these guys. You can see their individual boxes. So I'm going to come here. I'm just going to copy this container and I'm going to paste it. I'm going to paste it here as well, and I'm going to paste it here. So now that we have this, we can start working on this inner guys. So I'm going to select this. I'm going to come to style. The background color is going to be way darker than what we have here. So I'm going to bring it down, and inside it we have an icon, text, and another text. So let me just edit this color a little bit. So we're going to have an icon. I'm going to have an icon. Just drop the icon into it. I'm going to select this. I'm going to search for AWS. I'm going to select this. I'm going to insert it. And for the icon is going to be orange in color. Then for the size, we can start try something like 80. So now that we have this, I'm going to come here and I'm going to drag in a heading. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this, and right here we have DevOps. So this is going to be DevOps. I'm going to come to style, and it's going to be pure white. And typography, this can be something like 35. Let's see, I think a little bit smaller. So let's make it 30. And this is going to be something like 500 or 600 semi bold. And it's going to be capitalized. And let's see, I think this is looking too big. And let's make it 27. I think this is better. Then we're going to come to content. We're going to centralize it as well. Then we have one other text right here. I'm going to drag in another heading underneath it, and this is one. This one is going to be 15 plus project. So 15 plus project, and it's going to be pure white as well. This time around, it's going to be 16 pixels. Let's see what we have here, and it is going to be 400, and it's going to be uppercase, just like what we have here. And then I'm going to centralize it as well. So now that we have this, the next thing we want to do is I want to give it a padding all around. I'm going to give it a padding all around. So I'm going to select the container right here. I'm going to come to advanced. I can give it a 50 pixels padding all around, something like this. And this is looking good. And I think it has a border radius of something like 3. So I'm going to come to style, come to border, and this should be border radius of 3. Now this is looking good. So what we just need to do is we just need to, copy this style we have here and paste it. Before I do that, I'm going to edit the background color a little bit more. I think this is too dark. Get to make it something like this, something about that much. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste the style now. So paste style, and paste style. Then I'm going to copy the icon. I'm going to paste, and paste. Same thing with the text. Copy, paste, and paste. And then this one as well. Copy, paste, and paste. So what I want to do now is we need to start changing the icons and the text. So we have app dev. So I'm going to search for app store. Insert, this is going to be app dev. And in app dev, we have 25 plus projects, 25 plus projects. And then we have web app and 70 plus projects. So the icon is Laravel. Web app or web dev. Is a web app or web dev? So it is web app, and this is 70 plus project. And then lastly, we have WordPress. And for WordPress, we have 80 plus projects. So now that we have that, if I should click out of this, it's you can see, this is looking good. So we just achieved this, and I'm going to go ahead to work on the style. If I come here and I reload, you notice they came in with a kind of sequence. So I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to select the first container. I'm going to come to advanced motion effect, should be fade in up. Fading up, I'm going to select this as well. Advanced motion effect, fading up. And then there's going to be a delay of something like 200. And this is going to be 400 and 600. So I'm going to select this, advanced motion effect, fade in up. It should be 400. I'm going to select this, advanced motion effect, fade in up, and this should be something like 600. So let's go ahead to update it, and let's see what that looks like. So I'm going to preview our changes, and this is looking good. Perfect. So now that we have this, we need to make it mobile responsive. So I'm going to come to the tablet, and we have this for tablet. This is not looking good at all. I'm going to leave this where it is, but I'm going to select this container, the grid container, this one, not the inner one, the grid container that we have right here. I'm going to come here, and the columns is going to be 2, and the rows will be 2. So this is perfect for what we want to do. Then I'm going to come to the mobile. For the mobile, I'm going to select this text, and for the width, it is going to be 100% width, and this guy is going to be with the one for each, and it's all looking good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the grid, and I'm going to remove the padding for mobile. Same thing for the outer container as well. So we have that, and I'm going to do the same thing for this. I'm going to come to advanced, I'm going to get rid of this, and then I'm going to select the container itself, the mother container, come to advanced. I'll change this. Top should be something like 70, bottom 70, right left should be something like 20. So this is looking way better. So bottom should be 70. So now that we have that, this is mobile responsive and straight to the point. So the next part we want to work on is this counter along with the widgets. This particular section will be pretty easy to set up. So all we need to do is just come here. I'm going to come back to the desktop mode. I'm going to create a new flexible container, and this is going to come down like this. And then now we have inside here, we have, this is a flex, so we have 1, 2, 3. So what we're going to do is we're going to have 3 containers inside one container right here. So I'm going to drag in the first container, and then inside that we're going to have 3 containers. That'll be 1, and then duplicate it into 3 like that. And then I'm going to select the inner container. I'm going to come to style. I'm going to come to layout rather, and then I'm going to make it row horizontal. So it's going to be like this. I'm going to select the mother container, come to advanced. I'll change this. Padding top is 100. And better still, padding top is 80. Padding bottom is 80 as well. Then the background color is going to be burnt orange. So we have this. This is not the same thing as what we have here. So I'm just going to select this color. This color is, let me exit out of this. This color is burnt orange. I also have a color picker on my Chrome. So you can always install all these plugins. I'm going to copy the color code. I'm going to exit out of this, come back right here, and I'm going to paste the color code right there. So now that we have this, the next thing we want to do is we want to drag in these guys. So first we have an icon. We have an icon. The icon is pure white, and it has a border around it. So I'm going to come back to content, and it's going to be framed, something like this. So the icon is link. Let me just search for link. Chain. Trying to get the correct icon we use right here. So let me search for share. Let me just go with this. Let me just go with this one, even though that's not the correct icon. I'm going to come to style, and I'm going to change the size to something like 70. Let's say 50. That's too big. Let's say 40. Let's say 35. Let's say 30. I think 30 is looking good right here. Better still, let's go 27. So 27 is looking good, and then we have a heading and another text. So one thing about this heading is it's a countdown, not just a heading. As you can see, it's a countdown. So I'm going to come here, I'm going to search for counter. So we have a counter right here. I'm going to put it right here, and then we have 180 plus project completed. So this is going to be 180 plus project completed. So I'm going to come to style, and this guy is going to be white. For the size, let's go with 50, and then for the weight, it's going to be something like 600. Let's go with 500. So 500 works well. And then for the title, it's going to be white as well. So we have project completed, and it's a little bit bold. So we're going to make it 600, and then it's going to be something like 16. So it's going to be capitalized just like this. And I think we need to reduce the size of this number to something like 40. So you have 180 project. I think 45 should work fine. 180 project completed. That is looking good. Then I'm going to select the container. I'm going to come here and I'm going to give it a padding around of 50. A padding around of 50. And we'll most likely change this guy. We're going to change how big it is. So let's see. We're going to change the pad, or let's reduce the padding around to 30. So we have this, and I'm going to copy the same thing right here. I'm going to paste. I'm going to paste. I'm going to copy this as well. I'm going to paste. I'm going to paste. So for these, we have people. Or users. I'm going to select this. And this is 170 plus happy clients. 170 plus happy clients. And for the last one, we have percentage, 100% satisfaction, I think. 100% success score. So we have percent right here, and this is going to be 100% success score. So now that we have that, we need to copy this container and then paste the style because of the padding we gave it. So one other thing you will notice now is right here we have a kind of demarcation. So I'm going to select the first container. I'm going to come to style. I'm going to come to border. I'm going to make it 1, and then not border radius now. Not select border. Border should be solid, and the color of the border should be white, and the border should be 1. So where I want to give the border to is to the right. So it's going to be 1. I'm going to copy this, and then paste the style here as well. So we can have something like this. So this is looking exactly like what we have here. But one thing is this is looking a little bit shorter. So I think we need to quickly work on that. I'm going to select the container. And then for the padding top should be something like 30. Or better still 50. Let's see. I think 50 works. 50 and 50. And I think the padding we gave it, we may need to get rid of this. So we may need to get rid of the padding to make it a little bit short. I'm just going to copy and paste the style. But for this one, I'm just going to remove the padding so that I don't give it that border. So this is looking way similar, I think. So this is better. But one thing is when you come to mobile, not view page source, when you come to mobile, when you inspect it and you come to mobile, you notice the border is to the bottom. So let's quickly work on the responsiveness. I'm going to come here. This responsiveness is looking good for me for tablet. And then I'm going to come to the mobile. And as you can see, the border is to the right. So what we're going to do is we're going to change the border for mobile. I'm going to come to style, come to border. And this time around, this one is going to be 0. We're going to unchain it. Then bottom is going to be 1. Same thing for this. I'm going to select this and come to advanced. Come to style rather. Come to border. 0. Unchain it. And bottom should be 1. But one other thing we need to do is we need to put space between these guys. So I'm going to select this container, the first container, come to advanced. I'll change the padding, then bottom, I want to give something like 50 or 30. And then same thing for this container. I'm going to come to advanced and change this bottom padding 30. So this is looking good. And I think we should just give everything 30 top as well. So this is going to have 30 to the top. And same thing with this, is going to have a 30 padding to the top. So now that we have this, I'm going to select the entire container. As you can see, we have some space to the right and left. I'm going to select the entire container right here, and I'm going to give it a padding right and left of 20. It should be 50 and 20, or even 30. I think 30 works fine as well. 30 to the right and left. So this is looking good. I'm going to click on update, and we are done with this particular section as well. It is as easy as that. So let's see what that looks like in the front end. So we have our row section looking good, we have this section looking good, and then we have this section. For this particular section, there's something we need to do. So if I should click on, let me just click on one of these guys. So this is the main one I actually did. The others had duplicate. I just changed the featured image. So I'm going to click on this, and right here you notice we have a dynamic page. So we need to create a custom post type for all this dynamic content. To do that, we need to come back to dashboard right here, and we'll come to ACF, advanced custom fields. We're going to come to post types, and we want to create a new post type. So everything here are all post types. So I'm going to click on add post type, and we are going to call this portfolios. So this is going to be portfolio, and then the post type key is going to be filled automatically. Taxonomies, we don't need taxonomies. We want to make it public, and we're going to turn on advanced configuration. So what we need is, we need the title, we need the editor, remove the featured image. We don't need comment, we don't need any of these guys. We only need the title and the editor. Description, we don't need it. We want to make it active. Labels, everything is looking good right here. And then we're going to come to visibility, and then for the menu position, I want it directly above my post. So this is position 1, position 2, and then it's going to be in position 3. So menu position is going to be 3. You can decide to change the menu icon. To do that, just go to your Google Chrome and search for WordPress dash icon, then select the icon you want. But I'm just going to leave this the way it is. And then for exclude from search, you can do that if you want to. And every other thing, we're just going to leave the way they are. We're going to leave the way they are, and then we're going to click on save changes. Now our post type has been created. The next thing we want to do is we want to create the field groups and the content fields. So I'm going to come to field group, and right here we're going to create a new field group, and we're going to call this portfolio details, and give it any name if you want. So right here you notice we have first of all, we have 2 images. We have 2 images here, so we can just call this featured image 1 and featured image 2. So I'm going to select this, and it's going to be an image. So I'm going to call this featured imga, and for the field name, we're just going to click into it. It's going to autofill it. We're going to leave the rest the way they are. We're going to come to validation and want to make it required. You can do other validations here. Maybe you want to have a specific width, a specific height, you want to have something like that. The types of file you want to allow, you can do that, but I'm just going to leave it the way they are. Then I'm just going to duplicate it, and then we are going to have featured image B. So we need to change this to B as well, and every other thing I'm going to leave the way they are. So we have the featured image A, featured image B. The next thing we have right here is the title. We already said that when we're creating the field group, and then we have the content. So the next thing we have here is we're going to have the build width, the project type, and the niche. So I'm going to come here, and we're going to add a new field. It's going to be text. So we're going to give this build width. So build width, we're going to come to validation, make it required. I'm just going to go ahead to duplicate this guy as well. Duplicate in 2 places. So we have build width, we have project type, and we have niche. So we can do something like project type, and it should be project type as well. Project type. And for the second one, third one right here, we have the niche. and this as well should be niche. And the next thing we have right here is, I think, let me bring this here. So scroll down, we have a content and we have an image, we have another image, and we have content. So we can call this client problem, you can call this my solution. So we're going to need a content and an image. I'm going to create another one. Is going to be text. So for this particular one, we're going to use what we call the YCWG whatever editor. I'm going to select that. Since it's a text, I'm going to make validation required as well, and then this is going to be client problem, and this is going to autofill as well. So I'm just going to duplicate it as well. But before we duplicate it, right here you notice we have an image. So I'm going to come here, I'm going to add an image. It's going to be image, and we're going to give this client problem img. Validation is going to be required, and we're going to leave it the way it is. So what I'm going to do is, since we have the same thing right here and here, I'm just going to duplicate what we have here. So I'm going to duplicate this, I'm going to move it down, I'm going to duplicate this, and I'm going to move it down. So I'm going to edit this guy, and this is going to be my solution, and we're going to have my solution right here as well. Validation required, everything is looking good. And this one is going to be my solution img. So we'll do the same thing here, my solution img. So everything is looking good, and we're going to close that. So the last set of content we have right here is going to be this image. So this is just going to be filled for 4 images. So I'm going to add a new field. It's going to be an image, and this is going to be image 1, image A. Can just call it image 1, something like this. So image 1, I'm going to come validation required. Then I'm going to duplicate it 3 times. So I'm going to click on edit. So this is going to be image 2. Just like that, image 2, and this is going to be image 3, and the last one is going to be image 4. As you can see, this is looking good. So now that we've filled in all the content we need, all we need to do is just come down right here, then assign this field group to a post type. So we want to assign it to post type is equals to portfolio that we created earlier. So I'm going to click on save changes. So you can just go ahead to close this. So now if you should come here, if you come to the top right here, you're going to see a new post type, and as you can see, we have portfolios. I can come right here to click on add a new portfolio. So right here, as you can see, we have the title, we have the text, and then we have all this content that we can fill out. So I'm just going to go ahead to fill out the content. So for the text, let me just visit this website. So we call this smart homes, so I can copy the content to work with. So this is going to be smart homes. I'm going to copy this, I'm going to paste this here. And then for this content, I'm going to copy this as well. I'm going to paste it right here. And then for the featured image A, as you can see, we have this image. I'm going to add image. Then I'm going to upload from my folder. So if you come to your resource folder, you're going to see the image right here. As you can see, we have featured image A right here. And then we have featured image B. So I'm going to open the first image, and I'm going to select. And then for the featured image B, I'm going to select this as well. We have featured image B. I'm going to open it, and I'm going to select as well. Then for the built with, it's built with WordPress. Project type, for project type, it's DevOps. And then for the niche, it is finance. So client problem, come here, just copy this content, paste it right here. And client problem img, we're also going to upload an image. This is solution, this is problem. I'm going to open it. I'm going to select, and then for client solution, the solution I preferred, I'm going to paste this right there, and then we're also going to select the image. So I'm going to select solution image as well. Scroll down, and then we have it right here. I'm going to open it, and I'm going to select as well. Then for the remaining images, I'm just going to load everything at the same time. So it's the gallery image 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to open them. I'm going to select the first one. I'm going to select the second one as well. So the second image, select the third image, select the fourth image, and we are good. All we need to do is just go ahead to click on publish. Now this has been published. If I come to all portfolios, you can see we now have a portfolio right here. So now that we have one of the post item, instead of creating another post item up to 8 times, what we can do is we can go ahead to duplicate the existing post item and then just change the title and the featured image. If you come to the reference website right here, you notice the featured image is different. If I click on one of these, you notice every other content is the same thing, just like the post item we just created. And the reason why I did this is so that development can be fast. But if you're building a real portfolio website, you want to change the content of each post item. So I'm going to come back right here. Let me just close this. I'm going to come back right here, and what we'll do is we're going to go ahead to duplicate this. So I'm going to make our first duplicate. We're going to duplicate it 8 times because we have up to 8 portfolio items. You can do 6, you can do 5, but let's just go ahead with 8. So now I've gone ahead to do the duplicate. So we have 8 items now. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead to start editing each post item. The only thing I'm going to be changing is going to be the name and the featured image A. So I'm going to come here, I'm going to right click on this and click on edit. So right here, I'm just going to change this to Billy Beauty, and I'm going to change the featured image A. I'm just going to get rid of this and then add image. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to upload all the images in our resource folder. So what I want to add now is going to be main image 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm going to open everything right here so we can just select what we need from here. So I'm going to select this. I'm going to click on select. All I need to do is click on publish. So while that is publishing, I'm going to edit the second one. This one is going to be EJ Works. So I'm going to change the image. I'm going to click on add image, and you can just select one of these as well. So let's go with this. All I need to do is just click on publish. So I'm going to edit the third one as well, and I'm going to click on publish. I'm going to come here to edit the fourth one, and this is going to be legal homes. I'm going to close this, change the image, and I'm going to select this, and I'm going to click on publish. So while that is publishing as well, I'm going to edit this other one right here, and this will be something like smart interiors. I'm going to get rid of this, change the image, and I'm just going to go with this guy right here. Better still, let me just select this, and I'm going to click on publish. So for this one as well, I'm going to edit, and you can just do something like Mavi Tiny. I'm going to change the image. I'm going to select image. I'm going to select this, and I'm going to click on publish as well. And then for the last one, I'm going to go ahead to remove this image as well. I'm going to add the image, and I'm going to select this featured image. I'm going to select, and I'm going to click on publish. As you can see, everything has changed. But one other thing you will notice with these guys, when I hover over it, there's a link. It has a link, and when I click on it, right here we also have a link to whatever the website is, as you can see. So to make it very easy, I'm only going to change the link of only one of them, one of the case studies, so you can see how it works. So to add a link, a dynamic link, I'm going to come back to the dashboard. I'm going to come to ACF. I'm going to come to my field group, and I want to add another field for a link. I'm going to click on edit. So right here, I'm just going to add a field group, and it's going to be a URL. So the label is going to be live site, and the field name is going to be this. Then the default value, I'm just going to put a placeholder. Come to validation, make it required, and then I'm going to drag it all the way up to underneath niche, because that's where it's meant to be. If you check this, it is directly underneath the niche. I'm going to click on save changes. So I'm going to come back to the portfolios, and right here, the smart homes, I'm going to click on edit. Underneath it, you're going to see the space for a link. So this is the only one I'm going to be adding a link to. The rest, I'm not going to add a link to them. So I'm going to come back right here to my case studies, and I'm going to get the link for the website here. So I'm just going to close this. So the link is here. I'm going to right click. I'm going to copy link address. I'm going to get back here, and I'm going to paste it. That's all we need to do. I'm going to click on update. So now that we've created all our case studies, I can just go ahead and close all these other pages. So everything is looking good now. Now we can proceed to start editing the portfolio section. So to create this section, we're going to have a big section, and then inside that section we're going to have two inner containers, one for the content and one for the image. We're going to have our main Flexbox container, and the background color is going to be the color of this guy right here. So I'm just going to select this. I'll select this container, come to style to copy the color code. So after copying the color code, I'm going to come back right here and I'm going to come to style and I'm going to paste this color code. So I'm going to come to advanced and change this. We want padding top of 100, padding bottom of 100 as well. Then inside this, we're going to have a container. If you look at this, you notice we have this container. This one is one container, and this is going to be another container, and this is going to be another container. So that's like 3 containers in one. We're going to put in a container right here instead. We're going to put in a container. We're going to duplicate the container. So we have 3 containers like this, and inside the first container, this one right here, we're going to have 2 containers. You can either do 2 containers or just put the content inside it directly. So I think that's what I'm just going to do. I'm going to find a heading. I'm going to come here to copy this. Since it's the same thing, I'm going to paste the style, and this is going to be what? This is going to be projects. We have projects. I'm going to copy this heading as well. I'm going to come to this container and I'm going to paste it in here. So what we have there is my case studies, and then we have the content. So I'm going to come here, I'm going to copy this content and I'm going to paste it inside this container as well. So I'm going to come here, I'm going to search for carousel. So I'm just going to drag in this loop carousel. And after dragging the loop carousel, what we're going to do is we're going to come to query, and instead of post, we want to select portfolio. The reason why we're not seeing portfolio is because we are here to reload the page after creating our portfolio. So I'm just going to click on update, and I'm going to reload this page so that we can select portfolio from here. So now if you scroll down right here, we can select this guy again, come to query, select this, and now we have portfolios. Just select the portfolios right there. So now that we've done that, we can go ahead to update, and right here we're going to click on create a template. We're going to click on save. We're just going to drag in an image. We're going to drag in an image right here. You're going to come to these dynamic tags, select the dynamic tags, and you're going to come here to ACF image field. Now the image you want to select, you're going to click on this. The image you want to select is going to be the featured image A. So we're going to select the featured image A, and after selecting it, we're going to come to the link. We're going to select custom URL. For the URL, you're going to select dynamic tags as well, and you're going to select post URL. Select the post URL. That's all we need to do, and then come to style. One thing we want to do is, if you come here, you notice it doesn't have color. It only have color when you hover over it. So come to style, and then by default we're going to come to the CSS filter, and then we're going to reduce the saturation all the way to 0. Then on hover, we're going to come to CSS filter, and then the saturation is going to be normal. So that's what we want to do. And then on hover as well, we want it to float. We want it to float. If you look at this, it doesn't have a border radius, so I think everything is looking good. So let's just go ahead to update, and let's see what that looks like. Let's save and back, and this is what it is looking like. Slides on display 3, slides to scroll is going to be 1, number of slides is going to be 8 or 6 depending on what you want. Since our post item is 8, I'm just going to make it 8. Then we're going to come to query. So for the query, it's going to be portfolios. Can sort it right here. Then you're going to come to settings. We're going to turn on autoplay speed. We're going to change this to 0, and then transition duration, we're going to make it 3000. So pause on hover, yes. Pause on interaction, yes. Infinite scroll, yes. So offset sides, we're going to bring it to the right. So we're going to have a little bit of offset right here, as you can see right there. And the offset width, we're going to leave it the way it is. For navigation, we're going to get rid of the arrows, and then for pagination, we're going to use only the dot. So the dot is going to be visible right here. I'm going to come to style. For the pagination style, the dot color should be white. I'm just going to select this, and on hover, it should be orange. So custom position. I'm going to turn that on. It's going to be to the end, and the size right here, I'm going to give it something like 15. So let's go ahead to click on update, and let's see what that looks like on the front end. As you can see, this is looking good. This is exactly what we have on the reference website. So what we're going to work on now is we're going to work on the responsiveness. Let's come to tablets. For tablets, I think this is looking good. We don't have to do anything. Then for mobile, we want this to be to the center. The navigator should be to the center. So I'm just going to come here. It's going to be to the center, and then the size, we're going to reduce it to something like 10. This is mobile responsive, and then let's proceed to the next container. We have another container down here. So for that particular one, we're going to be using what we call the grid. So right here, you can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 columns. So it's going to be 6 columns and 1 row. And I'm going to drag in an image. I'm going to select the image, and I'm going to upload all the client's logo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to open. Then I'm going to select the first one. We have it right here. I'm going to come to image resolution is going to be full, and then we're going to come to style. I want it to occupy like 50%. Then we're going to come to content, and we want it to the center. We're going to select the container itself. Select this one, the container itself, and we want the content in it to be to the center like this, exactly like this. And we're going to come to advanced. We're going to get rid of the padding. So what we're going to do is we're just going to copy this, and then just, or better still, let's make this guy something like 45. So we're just going to copy. Before we copy, let's give it some hover animation. As you can see, there's a little bit of hover animation right here. So we're going to come right here, the default CSS filter. We're going to reduce the contrast a little bit, something like this. And then when we hover over it, the contrast should be back. So CSS filter should be back, as you can see. And then we're going to add hover animation as well, which is float. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste. I'm going to paste. I'm going to paste. And I'm going to paste. So what we're just going to do is we're going to change the images. I'm going to select this and select one of the image. I'm going to do the same for this. As you can see, we've done everything we need to do. We can go ahead to click on update, and let's see what that looks like on the front end. So right here, we have this and we have this, which is very similar to what we have right here. The only thing is you notice some of the logo are smaller, while some are bigger. So this one is looking too small. So we may need to just change the size of that particular one. I'm just going to select this. Instead of 45, you can give it something like 55, something like 55 or even 60. To make it rhyme with the other guys. So let's work on the responsiveness. I'm going to come to tablet, and for tablet, this is looking good as well, but you can as well come here, select the container itself, the grid container, come to layout. We can change this to something like 3 columns and 2 rows. You can do this, and then for mobile, I'm going to do something like 2 columns and 3 rows, or even do 3 columns and 2 rows, depending on whichever one you want to go with. So let's just check the reference website. Let's inspect it and let's see what that looks like. So what we have here is 2 columns, 3 rows. For iPad, it is straight. So I think we're just going to go with that. So for the iPad, we're just going to make it straight. I'm just showing you so you know you can do something like this. So it's going to be 6 and 1 row. And then for mobile, I'm going to have it. Let me leave it like this for mobile. This is looking good for me. I'm going to select the container, the outer container, not the inner container now. The outer container, I'm going to get rid of the padding. And then I'm just going to give it a little bit of margin at the top. Margin of something like 20 or even 40. Same thing here. Give it a little bit of margin top of 40. And that is looking good. So now if I should update, we should be done with that particular aspect. As you can see, this is looking good. Now the next part we want to work on is going to be this particular awesome testimonial grid layout. To build this particular section, it's looking a little bit complicated, but when you break it down, you'll be able to build it very easy. So we can divide this entire container into two. We can have the first container like this. This is one container, this is another container. So that means we're going to have two inner containers inside the big container. Then inside one of the containers, we're going to have another two containers. And then inside each two containers, we're going to have two containers. So that's like the breakdown of what we're going to be doing. So I'm going to come here, and right here we have this container. First, we need to remove the external padding. Let's get rid of the external padding. I'm going to drag in two containers. I'm going to duplicate it. So now we have two containers. We can't select the outer container because we already removed the external padding. So we're going to use our navigator. I'm going to come here, just close this. Open this, close the first one, then close this, close this. So this is the container we're working on. We have the big container, then we have the two inner container we just dropped in. So I'm going to select this container. I'm going to come to layout, and I'm going to set it to horizontal row. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring this guy like this, and it's going to be something like 70 or 60%. So it's going to be 70. Let's go with 70%. So right there. So you have 70% right here. So you can also select it and edit it here to be 70. So we have 70%. So let's work on this first guy right here. I'm just going to bring the navigator up here. So right here we have this content. We have a content here, we have a content here. So I'm going to come here. I'm just going to copy this guy, and I'm going to drag in maybe a heading. I'm going to Ctrl A. I'm going to paste. Let's come to style. What's the color? The color is white. And it is going to be something like 16 pixels or even 18 pixels. Let's see what we have here. I'm just going to select this. So it is 18 pixels and then 600 weight. 18 pixels and 600 weight. And then we're going to give it line height definitely of something like 20 or even 25. Let's see. Let's see the line height we have here. So line height is 25 exactly. So we have 25. The next thing we have is we have this content. So this is a review widget. So I'm just going to come here. I'm going to search for review or testimonials. So we're going to find testimonials, which is this one. Just drag it in here. So we have this. So what we're going to do is we're going to align it to the left. I'm going to come here to copy this content. Come back right here to paste. Let's Ctrl C, and this will be Ctrl V. So we have it right there. We're going to come to style. It's going to be white, and it's going to be 16 pixels. Definitely, just like what we have here. Let's check that. So it's 14 pixels, 400 weight. So 14 pixels and the weight is 400. So now that we have that, we need to work on the image. I'm going to come back to content. We're going to choose image, and I'm going to upload all the files right here. So we have it here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to open, and I'm going to select one of them, and I'm going to have it right here. For the name as Kira White. Kira White, and African chef. So now that we have that, that's all we need to do. Just come to style. For the image, we're going to reduce the size to something like 30. Let's see 40. Let's see how big this is. So 35. And then for the name, it's going to be pure white. It's going to be, the weight is going to be 700, and it's going to be 16. Let's see how that is. Or 14. It's going to be 14. And then the other text is going to be a little bit white pale, something like this. And that is all we need to do. So what we're going to do now is we're going to select this container. We're going to come to style, and then the background color is going to be black, just like what we have here. And then as you can see, it has a kind of padding all around of, let's say, 30. So we're going to come here, we're going to unchain this, I'm going to give it 20. Let's make this 30. So we are done with the first one. We just finished the first one, and then we can bring our navigator back. Let's work on this particular part. So for this particular part, we're going to have two containers. So I'm going to come here to my hamburger. I'm going to drag in the first container, and then I'm going to duplicate. So now we have two containers. For the upper container, we're also going to have two containers. So for this upper part, we're going to drag in two containers as well, and I'm going to duplicate. So I'm going to select the mother container of the upper container, and I'm going to bring it like this. So I'm going to pull this, and this is going to be something like 60%. Can close the navigator for now. And what we want inside here is going to be the same thing. I'm just going to copy, I'm going to paste. I'm going to copy this as well, and I'm going to paste. We're only going to change the content. So I'm going to copy this guy, and we're going to come here to copy the content here as well. And we're going to change the image and the name. So we have Kimo David, 6-Leaf CEO. So I'm going to change the image. I'm just going to select an image from what we have here. And the name, I'm just Kimo White, 6-Leaf CEO. So we have this, and what we have right here is also pure black. I'm going to select the container it is in, come to style, and it's going to be pure black as well. Come to the advanced and change this, and it's going to be 30. The padding as well is going to be 30. So if I should come here, you can see this is slowly taking shape, just like what we have right here. So for this particular one, we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to copy this, I'm going to paste, I'm going to copy, and I'm going to paste. So we need to edit the content. I'm going to copy this as well, and I'm going to paste it, and then we're going to come here to copy this, and we're going to paste it as well. We're just going to change the name as well. So I'm going to change the image. And right here we have Kimo David, 6-Leaf CEO as well. I'm just going to change the name and let me just leave it the way it is. I'm going to select the container, come to advanced, padding 30. And for the background color, it's not too dark. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to come here, I'm going to select this. And it's a little bit dark, but not too dark. So I'm going to leave it the way it is like this. So what I'm going to do is I can now delete the bottom container and then duplicate this upper container. After doing that, I'm just going to move this guy right here. So I just exchanged it. I'm going to select this. The only thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to change the image. And also change the image for this as well. So now that we've done that, this is orange, our burnt orange. I'm going to select this, come to style, and let me just pick the color code right here. It is burnt orange. I'm going to copy, exit out of this, and I'm going to paste. So now that we have that, that is exactly what we need. As you can see, what we're going to do now is we need to start getting rid of the external paddings that we have here. So I'm going to select this. I'm going to come to advanced, remove the padding, select this, come to advanced, get rid of the padding, and then select the outer one as well, get rid of the padding. So if I should come here, this is looking exactly like what we have and what we need. So I'm going to come back right here to make it mobile responsive. I'm going to come to tablet. Now this is not looking good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select the navigator. This is the mother container right here. This is the mother container. So instead of having it side by side, inside the mother container, don't forget we have two containers. So what I'm going to do is instead of having it to be row, I'm going to make it column. Then I'm going to open this up and I'm going to select the first container, which is this one, this upper one. And instead of having it at 70, it's going to be 100%. And that will solve whatever issue we are having for us. And I think we are good. And I'm going to select this. I'm going to select the model container. I'm going to unchain this. This is going to be 80, 80, and this should be 30, 30. Better still 2020. So you can select this as well and remove the external padding. Select this as well and get rid of the external padding. So we're looking good here. Select this as well, get rid of the external padding. So this is looking perfect. Let's check the mobile. For mobile, it is looking good as well. This is looking perfect. But this time around, this should be 20. I think we did it before already, so this should be good. I'm going to click on update and let's see what we have on the front end of our website. So the hero section is set, the service section is set, this section is set as well. The only thing we need to do now is we need to give it some margin to the top, just like we have right here, some margin to the top. I'm going to come back to desktop mode. I'm going to select the container of this particular guy, which is this, and we're going to trace it. We have the first container, then it should be this. Fine, this is it. We just use the navigator to move around. If you're unsure of something, just click on it, it's going to highlight it. So I'm going to come to advanced. I want to give it a margin top of something like 50, and this is looking good. This is looking perfect. The last part is pretty easy to build. So this is just going to be a main container and then 2 containers. I'm going to come back right here. I'm just going to close my navigator. I'm going to create a flexbox container, and inside the container we're going to drag in our mother container, and inside our mother container we're going to have 2 containers. So let me just duplicate this, and I'm going to select the mother container. I'm going to make it a row horizontal. I'm going to come to the bigger container. I'm going to come to style, and then the background color is going to be this. I'm going to come to advanced, then padding top of 100 and padding bottom of 100. So now that we have that, what we have here is the same content, just like similar content that we have right here. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to come here. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to copy. I'm going to paste. I'm going to copy this as well. I'm going to paste it right here. And I'm going to copy this as well. I'm going to paste it right here. So after doing that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this guy. Let's start with the first one, projects. We're going to bring it to the left, and also come to style, bring it to the left. So after doing that, we're going to come to advanced and we want to change the width to default. So we have this. So what we're going to do is we're going to change the content. So we have got a question, and we have let's discuss. So this is looking big compared to what we have here, so we need to increase the size of these 2 guys. I'm going to come to styles. This is going to be 20, and this is going to be, let's give this something like 45. So let's discuss, and then we have the content. So underneath it, we also have these guys. I'm going to come up here to copy this. So I can select it. I'm going to use my navigator, and we have it right here, the social icons. I'm going to copy, scroll down, and I'm going to paste it here. So this is looking distorted. I'm going to come to advanced. I'm going to change the position to default, and I'm going to come back to content, and I'm going to make the columns auto. Can I make it auto or make it 4? So I'm going to come to style. I'm going to increase the spacing to something like 15. So this is looking way better. But one thing is here is this is looking pushed inside. Select this content itself. I'm going to give it margin to the right of something like 50. Let's see, 100. So this is looking good. I'm going to bring this back, and right here I'm just going to drag in my form, my Elementor form. So come here to search for Elementor. Come here to search for form rather, and just drag it in here. So for the form, we have just 3 fields. We have name, email, and messages. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come here, make it required. This also will be required, and the message also will be required. So now that we have that, I'm going to come to input size. I'm going to make it medium, and I'm going to input size is medium. Yeah. For the required mark, we don't need it. For the label, I'm going to turn that off, and everything is looking good right here. For the button ID, I'm just going to call this contact ID, contact BTN ID. Then action after submission. What do we want to do after people submit? We want to collect submission. That is, we want to save the submission on our website, and we want to send an email to yourself so that you know someone submitted or someone tried to contact you. Then we're going to come to emails. This is where we're going to use our custom email. So I'm going to use contact@intavas.org.ng. I'm just going to put it right here. New contact email from your portfolio. We want to get all fields, and then here we're going to change it to contact@intavas.org.ng. and then steps settings. We don't need this additional option. Form ID is going to be footer form ID. So you can put any name here. I'm just trying to form something that makes sense. Then browser validation, we're going to leave it. Custom message, I'm going to turn it on. Your submission was successful. I'm just going to leave it where it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to come to style, and here you notice this place is dark. So I'm going to come to the form field, and border radius is going to be 0, and border color is what? We don't have any border color, so border color should be 0 as well. Then the background color should be dark, something like we have here. The background color should be dark, and the text color should be white. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bring these guys to the center. I'm going to select the container, come to layout, and we want it to the center. Perfect. So now that we have that, I think we are basically done. We're going to come to the tablet mode, and let's see what that looks like. This is looking good. What I'm just going to do is I'm going to select container. I'm going to unchain this. It's going to be 80 top, 30 right, 80 bottom, and 30 this. I'm going to select the content itself. I'm going to remove the margin we gave it, and this is looking good. I'm going to come to mobile. For mobile, we want it like this. I'm just going to remove the padding. Before that, let's remove the padding in this guy, and then remove the padding in the normal one as well. We'll do the same thing for this. Get rid of the padding, and we select the mother container right here, and we're going to change this. This should be something like 70 top, 20 right, 70 bottom, and 20 left. So this is looking good. We can reduce the size of this guy to something like 35, and we can give this guy some margin top of something like 50 or 30, something like this. So this is looking good. This is perfect, and that is all we need to do. I'm going to click on update. We are done with the home page, but one other thing we need to do is if you come to this page and you click on any of the link, it scrolls down to where we want it to go to. So let's quickly work on that. I'm going to come back right here, and what we're going to be using is going to be something called Anchor. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to search for Anchor. Anchor, the first one we have is case studies. So this is our case study. First one we have is what I do. Rather, these are what I do. I'm going to drag the anchor above the services, and I'm going to call this services. That's all you need to do. To make it easier to see, I'm going to give it a margin bottom of 20, and we're going to come to case studies. So these are case study. I'm going to search for Anchor. I'm going to drag that above, and right here we're going to put portfolios. Come here and give it margin bottom of 20, and then after case studies we have testimonials. So this is our testimonials right here. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to search for Anchor, and we're going to drag it. Let's just put it here, and we're going to call this testimonials. You don't need to give it a margin because there's enough space right here already. And the last one is going to be contact. So for the contact, we're going to put it here. I'm going to search for Anchor. Again, drag the contact right here. So now that we have the contact right there, we are done with what we need to do. The next we need to do is to add the link so that it will be clickable. So I'm just going to go ahead to click on update, and I'm going to come back right here to our dashboard. You're going to come to appearance and you're going to come to menus. So right here, you're going to copy the main link of your website. I'm going to right click. I'm going to copy link address, which is your domain name, to the home page. And we're going to come here. So we're going to come to what I do. We're going to paste the link here, and then we're going to add hash. And what I do, we use services as our anchor. We're going to do the same thing for this. Paste the link, and this one is case studies. This is portfolios. That's what we use for our anchor. That's what we named our anchor. And for testimonials, you paste this as well, and you add your hash testimonials. And then for contact, we do the same thing. Paste and contact. So once we are done with that, just go ahead to click on save menu, and I'm going to visit the website. So this is our website. If I click on what I do, it brings me down. I should click on case studies, it brings me down. I should click on testimonials, it brings me down. Come to contact, and now it is working fine. The only thing we're missing now is right here. You notice when we scroll, there's a back to top kind of icon here. To quickly fix that, we're going to come to appearance and customize. You can close this, and we're going to come to general. We're going to select scroll to top, turn it on. Then we're going to select this chevron. You can select the icon you want to use. I'm just going to select this. And I want it to be circle. Come to design. Background color is this. Background color is this. I want this to be white. I'm going to publish. Now, if you should come to the website, to the main website, and you reload, when you click on any of these, it takes you down, and now we have our scroll back to top. I can click on it, and it's going to take me back up. So one other thing I want us to quickly work on is the animation of this particular slider. So if I should reload, you're going to see the fading animation. As you can see, it's run in from the left. So we need to quickly do that as well. So I'm going to come back right here, and I'm going to select this slide. I'm going to come to advanced, and we come to motion effect. And for motion effect, entrance animation should be fade in from the right, something like that. We're going to go ahead to click on update, and let's see what that looks like if it's displaying well here. So as you can see, this is looking good. Now that we are done with the home page and everything is looking good, let's go ahead to start building the post, the single post type. If I should come here and I just click on one of these, let me just click on this. As you can see, this opens up in another tab, and then we have this lovely page that is dynamic. Though we're yet to set it to open another tab right here, I think we should quickly do that. So we can do that by clicking on edit template, and we're going to come right here to the image, and for the link, it is post URL. So just click on this gear icon, and we want it to open in new window. So I'm going to click on update, and we can go ahead to click on save and back. So now that I've done that, let's see what that looks like on the front end of our website. I'm going to come here, we get our animation, and if I should click, as you can see, it opens up in another window, and that's what we want to achieve. As you can see right here, this is looking ugly compared to what we have right here. So now we're going to go ahead to build the single post page. To start building out the single post page, we need to use Elementor and the special feature in Elementor that is the custom and dynamic post type. So I'm going to come back to my dashboard, and I'm going to come to template. I'm going to come to team builder. So right here, this is where you can create dynamic content or special pages with Elementor. So the one I want to use is going to be the single post. I'm going to come here, I'm going to click on add new. This will open up a page like this for you, and just go ahead to click on close, and you're going to have this blank canvas. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come to settings. I'm going to come to preview settings. I'm going to select portfolio, and I'm just going to use one of my portfolio as a case study to build out the templates and then apply it to all other templates, to all other post type. So I'm going to come here, I'm going to search for smart home, which is one of the post items we created. So we have smart homes. I'm going to click on apply and preview. So after doing that, I'm going to come to publish, and I'm going to set this condition to all other post type item in portfolio as well. So I'm going to click on add condition. It's going to be portfolios, and we want to apply to all. So I'm going to click on save and close. So the first thing to build is to create this upper part. I'm going to create a flex box that points down, and I'm going to come to advanced. I'm going to give it padding top of 100 and padding bottom of 200. Then I'm going to come to style. I'm going to give it a background image. I'm going to select this, and I'm going to choose an image. So all the images and everything used for this particular tutorial are present in the resource folder, so you can get it from there. So I already uploaded the image to the website already. I'm just going to select it here. I'm going to select this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to position, center, attachment should be default, and repeat should be no repeat. Display size should be cover. So now that we have this, we can scroll down to background overlay. We're going to come to gradients, and then for this upper part, it is going to be black, very dark like that, something like this. And then for the lower part, it is going to be orange. So what we're going to do is we're going to come to opacity. We're going to bring it all the way up, and then we'll come to blend mode and we set it to multiply. Create a flex box of 2 sides. So we're going to have this, and then we'll make sure the content here, the image is to the right, and then we have this content. So for the background color, I'm going to select this, come to style, come to classic, and then the background color is going to be this. For this part, we have the title of the post type, the content, and then we have these other guys. So we're going to quickly achieve that. I'm going to come back right here. I'm going to drag in the post title, and the style should be pure white. The post title, then we have the post content. We have post content right here. So this also is going to be white like this. And then we have a divider. Come here to search for a divider. I'm going to drag and drop this right here, and the divider also is going to be white. Something about that much is okay. And then we have these 3 guys. So these 3 guys, each of them is going to have its own container. So I'm going to come down right here, and I'm going to drag in container right here. I'm going to drag in a container. I'm going to make sure it doesn't have any padding. I'm going to remove the padding. And then inside the container, I'm going to drag in a heading. So this should be built with. I'm going to come to style, should be pure white, and this should be like 16 pixels, and the weight should be 700. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate that particular item, the header, and then I'm going to select the container itself, and I want them to be on a row. I'm going to select row, and I'm going to select center, and then I'm going to select the second item. I'm going to delete whatever we have in here, and I want this to be a dynamic content. I'm going to select this dynamic tags, come to ACF field. We're going to come here, select a key. I'm going to select build width, come to style. This should be orange, and then it should be 16 with 400 light. So the space here is quite too much. I'm going to select container, and right here instead of 20, it is going to be 10. So this is looking good, and I'm going to go ahead to duplicate the container itself twice. And for these other guys, this one is going to be project type and niche. Project type, and here we are going to have niche. So let's go ahead to change the content as well. I'm going to select this, select the ACF field option to project type. Do the same thing for this. I'm going to select this, select the ACF field option, and this should be niche. Oh, this should be project type. I'm going to change the project type again. This project type, and the one I want to edit is this niche. I'm going to select that, and this should be niche right here. So the next thing we have here is going to be this button. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to drag in a button to the bottom part right here, and then this button is going to be see live site. For the link is going to be dynamic as well. I'm going to select this. I'm going to come to ACF URL fields. I'm going to click on this. I'm going to select my key, and the key is going to be live site. Remember, I created the URL field that is live site. I'm going to select that, and I want it to open in another tab. So now that we have that, I'm going to come to advanced. I'm going to give it a margin top of something like 30, and then I'm going to come to style. The background color is going to be orange. The text color is going to be white. On hover, I want it to float. And then for the padding, for normal, it's going to be 15, 25, 15, and 25. So to add some spacing to this content, I'm going to select this container. I'm going to come to layout, and I want this to be 100% VH, be 100. And then I'm going to come to advanced. I'm going to give it a padding bottom of 120, just like that. And to the left, I'm going to give it something like 25. So it can push the content to the side right here. So I will have that. Then for this container, I'm going to select this. I'm going to come here. It's going to be 50 all around. I'm going to select this. And then to the left, it's going to be 30. I don't want it too far from the image. So I'm going to come back right here. I'm going to drag in an image. So I'm going to use the dynamic tags as well. You can go ahead to just delete this, select the dynamic tags, come to ACF fields, and select the featured image B. So once you select the featured image B, we want to leave it the way it is. We're going to come to style and we want this to be 90%. Then we come here to border radius, want to give the border radius of 10. Then we can go ahead to just duplicate this. And then for the second one, we're going to select the featured image A. And then this one is going to be, let's say, 85%. And that is all we need to do. So after doing that, we're going to select this guy, the container right here. I'm going to come to advanced. We're going to unchain this. I want to give it a margin top of -50. So after doing that, that has gone up a little bit. We're going to select the featured image B, come to advanced, and we want to make it position absolute. So we'll come to position, it's going to be absolute. And for the other guy, the other image, as you can see, it has gone beneath it. We need to edit it with our navigator. We'll come to our navigator, we'll select the second image, which is this one. And then we'll come to advanced as well. We'll do position absolute. As you can see, it has come to the top now. So for the upper image, we're going to give it an offset. I'm going to come to advanced. So offset, we're going to give it -61 and 0. Then for the one at the bottom, we're going to give it 130 and 65. So we have it like this. So we can go ahead to click on update and let's see what that looks like. As you can see, this is looking very similar to what we have right here. If I should come back right here to reload this, as you can see, they came in with a kind of animation. So we need to do the same thing for these guys. So I'm going to select the upper one and we're going to come to motion effect and it's going to be sliding left. And then for the lower one, we're going to come to motion effect and it is going to be fading left. But this time around, there's going to be a delay of about, let's say 400. So we're going to go ahead and click on update. So exactly what we want. So what we can do is we can add a little bit of shadow to this upper one. I'm just going to select this, come to style, come to box shadow. And this is going to be a little bit darker, something like this. So I'm going to make it 9 and then it should be 9 as well. And we can have this as 40 so that we can cast a little bit of shadow. Now this is looking way better. The next thing we want to do is to make it mobile responsive. So I'm going to right click on this to inspect and let's check that of the iPad first. So I'm just going to go with the iPad mini or even the iPad Air. So as you can see, this is not looking good. And for our reference website, let's see what that looks like. I'm going to click on inspect. As you can see, this is what this one looks like. So we need to achieve this as well. So to do that, I'm going to come back right here. I'm going to select my responsive mode. I'm going to come here. Then I'm going to select the entire container, the main model container, and I want it to be column and I want it separated a little bit like that. And then I'm going to select this first column. I'm going to come to layout and this should be 100%. And same thing applies for the other container as well, the other section, which contain the content, which is this one. I'm going to select that. I'm going to come to layout and this should be 100% as well. So after doing that, as you can see, we can't see it. So we need to come to advanced, unchain this, remove whatever we have here, just give it padding right and left of 30, and then I'm going to give it a margin top of 970. So now we have it right here. Let's go ahead and click on updates. As you can see, this is looking way better. So one other thing I want to do is notice we have a lot of space here and we have very little space here. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to select this upper container, come to advanced, and I'm just going to unchain this. We're still going to give it 150 up, but right here to the left, I'm just going to give it 30. And I'm going to select this upper image. I'm going to come to advanced and this is going to be -59 and this one is going to be like -1. I'm just going to select this, just give it 120 top, and now we can proceed to do that of the mobile. So I'm going to select iPhone 12 Pro, and as you can see, this is looking way farther away and we actually need to work on that to make it mobile responsive. So I'm going to come back right here and I'm going to come to mobile mode. So on the mobile mode, I'm going to select this one, and we're going to unchain this. We're just going to give it padding bottom 100, and we're going to select this. Instead of 150, it's going to be -100, and I'm going to select the first image. This should be like 90, and then the one at the bottom is going to be 100%. So this is what it's looking like. So we need to work on the size. I'm going to come here. I'm going to select the one at the top. I'm going to come to advanced. Then for the offset, it's going to be minus 25, and minus 1. And then for the lower one, we're going to come to advanced as well. We're going to come to the offset, and this one is going to be 70 and 30. 70 and 30. So let's go ahead to click on update and let's see what that looks like now. So this is what it's looking like, all looking good. The next one to work on is this guy right here. So I'm going to come back right here. I'm going to select this container, inner container, and I want to unchain this to be 0. For this one, I'm going to unchain this, but instead of pixel, we're going to use percent, and it is going to be 160%. So let's go ahead to click on update and let's see what that looks like. This is exactly what we want, and we've achieved it. So for this section, all we need to do is create a big section, and then inside that section there's going to be a big container that we have 2 columns. So right here, create a flexbox container, and inside that container we're going to have another container. So we're going to select the mother container. I'm going to come to advanced. I'm going to unchain the padding. Padding top is going to be something like 80. Padding bottom is going to be something like 30. And then we're going to come to style, and then the background color is going to be this. So we can make this a little bit darker than what we have here, so we can just bring it down a little bit like this. And then inside this container that we just dropped in, I'm going to drop in 2 containers. So just duplicate this, and I'm going to select the outer container, and I'm going to make it a row. Inside this one, we're going to drag in a heading, and this is going to be what client wanted. And then I'm going to come to style. This is going to be pure white, and we're going to drag in an image, a text editor underneath it, and this is going to be a dynamic tag. And we're going to come to ACF field. We're going to select client problem, come to style, and this is going to be white as well. For the other container, I'm going to drag in an image, and this is going to be dynamic. I'm going to select dynamic tags. I'm going to come to ACL field. I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to select a key, which is going to be client problem img. So now that we have that, we can select this text. I want to give it some margin to the right. I'm going to change the margin, and to the right I'm going to give something like 50. Now that we have this, we can go ahead to duplicate this entire container, and I'm going to select the inner mother container. Then I'm going to reverse the column. So this is now going to be my solution, and this is going to be my solution selected as well, and we want to align it to the left. Same as this, we want to align it to the left, to the right I mean. So I'm going to select this content. I'm going to remove the margin that we added. So instead of adding the margin to the right, the margin is going to be to the left. And for the image, I'm going to select this, and I'm going to change this to my solution. So now that we have that, you want to make sure the content is in the center. If yours is not in the center, just select the container and make sure this justify send content is to the center, and same with this container as well. So now that we have this, I want to give some padding to the bottom. I'm going to select this mother container, come to advanced. Padding top is going to be something like, let's say 50, and padding bottom is going to be something like 80. So now that we have this, as you can see, this is exactly what we have here as well. Exactly what we have here. So the next part is this bottom section. But before we do that, let's check the mobile responsiveness. So I'm going to come to responsive mode. I'm going to come to tablet, and this is looking good for tablet. All I'm just going to do is I'm going to select this content. I'm going to remove the margin, and I'm going to do the same for this as well. I'm going to remove the margin. So this is looking good for the tablet. I'm going to select this container. I'm going to change the margin, the padding top. I'm just going to give the padding bottom 80. I'm just going to leave it like this. Then let's check the mobile. For mobile view, this is looking good. One thing you can do is you can just unchain all this padding to make them a little bit broad. So I can come here, select this mother container and remove the padding, select the inner container and also remove the padding. Can do the same for the image. Okay, the padding is removed already, and this one I'm going to do the same. Come to advanced, remove the padding, and select the inner padding as well. I'm going to remove the padding. So this is looking good for the mobile. The only thing I can just do is select the entire container itself and just give it 20 right, 20 left, and bottom can be something like 80. And I'm going to do the same for this. I can give it top of something like 20 or 30. And same thing for this. I'm going to select the mother container. I'm going to change this. Top is going to something like 80, bottom should be something like 30, and right should be 20, 20. Right should be 20. So this is looking good. The next thing we want to do is we want to create this last section, which is pretty easy. I'm going to create another flex box. No, not flex board now. I'm going to create a grid, and the grid is going to be, let's select this. You can always edit it. So I'm going to come to columns. Column should be 4 and the row should be 1. I'm going to select it. I'm going to come to advanced and change the padding and give it padding top of something like 80 and padding bottom of 80. I'm going to come to style. The background type is going to be colored. So I'm going to select this. So I want the color to be that of this one. So I'm just going to select this guy, come to style and pick the color, copy the color code. Going to copy, and I'm going to scroll back down, select this, and the background color is going to be the color code we copied. Now this is better. So all we need to do is just drop in images. So I'm just going to drop in an image here. I'm going to make it a dynamic tag. I'm going to select ACF image field, click on this, select a key, and it's going to be image 1. So after doing that, just come to advanced and give it some motion effect, and motion effect is going to be fade in up. All I need to do is copy it and paste, and I'm going to change the image to img2. I'm going to come to advanced, and the motion effect, there's going to be a delay of something like 200. I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste, and this is going to be image 3 advanced. There's going to be a delay of like 400, and I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste, and this is going to be img4. Come to advanced, motion effect, and there's going to be a delay of something like 600. So let's check the delay of this one. Hopefully the delay is correct. Motion effect 200, and this should be 400, and this is 600. So that is all we need to do. I should come to tablets. I can leave it like this, but this is too tiny. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the grid itself. I'm going to select the grid, and you can use the navigator. So that is the last one. This is the grid right here. You're going to select it, come to layout, and you want to make sure it is 2 by 2. So this is way better. And then for mobile, it's going to be 1 by 1. So you can go ahead to just update, and let's preview what we have on the front end. So this is looking good. We are basically done with the single post page. So let's come to the home page. I'm going to come to case studies and try to click any one of them to see if the template was assigned to audio post type. So let's just select this, and as you can see, it's using the same template structure. Yeah, the reason why this content didn't change is because we're using the same content for everything, because we duplicated it, and the only thing we changed was the featured image A, and that's why it is showing here. So basically we are done with this, and the next thing is I just want to show you how to create custom business emails on cPanel. To create a custom email, log into your cPanel account. Immediately log into your cPanel account, you can come to email account. So to create a custom email, all you need to do is click on create. Come right here, I'm going to add contact at intavas.org.ng. I'm going to generate password, and I'm going to click on stay on this page after I click create, so I can create the other one. So I go through the same process again. This is going to be admin. I'm going to generate password as well, and I'm going to click on create. So if I should go back, as you can see, we have our 2 email accounts right here. I can go ahead to click on check email. So let's go to check email, and what you want to do is just click on next time you open this email, open my inbox when I log in. I'm going to close this. I'm going to click on open. So just like every other email client, as you can see, this is something similar to like Gmail, Yahoo Mail, and Hotmail. So let's test if we're going to receive email right here. So I'm going to come to the website intavas.org.ng, and let me just scroll down. I'm going to go to contact. I'm going to input my name is Moses Med. My email is medamsmoses@gmail.com, and then my message is going to be testing the contact form. I'm going to click on send, and as you can see, it says your submission was successful. So let's see if we're going to get the email right here. I'm going to reload, and as you can see, we have new contact email from your portfolio. I'm going to click on that. And as you can see, it says name Moses Med, email medamsmoses@gmail.com, message testing the contact form. It's added the date. It was sent date January 9, 2024, the time, the page it was sent from, my browser, the device I'm using, MacBook, everything, my IP, and powered by Elementor. So you get everything. So basically, the only thing I'm not cool with here is this color right here. You can always change this color in the edit page of Elementor. So basically, that is all about this tutorial. If you've learned 1 or 2 things, consider leaving a like on this video, share it with your friends, and if you have any question, leave a comment below. Of course, I remain Moses, and I'm going to see you in the next tutorial.